We do this one in the nude, kids.
Well, not
you
me.
Can hear the. Oh, you're totally naked right now.
I'm
Don't even
orange.
lie. Well, you're
That's
still
true.
naked.
That's true. Oh, I have the blue trunks. So
yeah. I'm naked under my clothes.
No, we're all naked. Don't ruin the illusion.
Sorry.
This is Midnight's Edge After Dark. We're all nude.
Okay.
We're in our buff glory.
Yep.
We saw naked people.
Like anybody can see us anyway.
Turn your camera on.
We're
Tom.
just what? Oh shit. I put on a shirt for 2 seconds because I was a little cold, a little nipply.
It's cold in the Midwest.
We're summer temperatures today, and you guys are getting all the nice cool weather.
Mikey, hey, if you're feeling up to it, buddy, and you can just throw your phone or whatever on your chest and get in here, please do. If not, I understand, man. I understand, but we miss you, brother. We miss you.
Yeah,
Mike, you please. You can lay in bed.
Whoa.
We won't talk about Flash or anything. And don't want to talk about Alf either. No Alf.
Yeah, we won't talk about Alf. No Alf. What we will talk about is some Black Adam, maybe a little Blue Beetle. There's some Star Wars news, believe it or not. And we'll see what else we get onto in this evening program here as people start to come in. I know it's election night, so I guess I'm not exactly expecting a huge crowd tonight, but we'll see how that rolls. But let everybody know we're live right now. Please share that link out on the socials and whatever else you have out there, and let people know we're doing a thing here, right? Six. That's
doing a
Six.
thing.
Welcome to the program, Six. How you doing?
Good evening.
You're like a week or so late on that, but
what? Oh, Halloween is a state of mind.
Yeah. This is true.
And that was really the Count from Sesame Street. So
one.
He's yearly.
2. 3. Does anybody remember the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches guy?
No.
You don't remember that guy? He was he was the magician who could never get the goddamn tricks right. And he'd fuck up every trick he'd do. Yeah.
Hey, I can't.
Abracadabra.
Not ringing a bell.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And he's supposed to pull a rabbit out of his hat or whatever, and it would be like a peacock or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Just like, yeah.
The only one I remember pulling the rabbit out of his hat was Bullwinkle. What's pull a rabbit out of my hat?
Well, it's kind of like that same kind of a joke, right? Like it's like the magician who can't get a trick to work right.
Oh, gotcha.
And then you also had the musician guy who would always, whenever he'd mess up, he'd bang his head into the piano and shit like that.
D-Bud on the same page with me as always. Awesome, dude.
Maybe they're more my era. So
yeah, it could have been a little bit after my time. We all watched it. We all watched it at different times, right?
Yeah.
Depending on
yeah, there's like 3 or 4 year
but younger
period.
Than Clabby.
I was. Yeah, you're all young. Because my favorite thing, I actually preferred the Electric Company. Oh, I just Sesame Street, but the Electric Company and Spider-Man.
Well, I was going to say Electric Company and Spider-Man, yeah. Well, hello, Clobby. Welcome to the program. We're glad to have you back as well.
Thank you, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you, my dear friends out there in the chat. And always great to see the beautiful Six. Hello there, my y'all.
Yeah. Hello.
We got Santiago Pellegros, if I'm saying that right. Wants to know my opinion on Grendel TV series. I never watched it, so sorry, I can't give you an opinion on that. Did you see that?
Netflix. I did not see it. I used to read the comic a little bit by Matt Wagner, but I didn't know that we're doing a show.
Not ringing a bell, but I'm writing it down.
They did a show for that?
Sorry. Well, I did watch, though. I guess they did a show of it. I didn't know.
I did not know that.
So, yeah, we also have Brian Smith here, Jed Raybold. We got Ezilla here. Ezilla, I got a book in the mail today. Took it downstairs already. I already showed it. I got the Godzilla Encyclopedia.
Oh,
what?
Nice.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's whatever you call it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's cute.
Yeah,
and Cartoon Man, that's right. It's election night. We got Randall Orser here. Mikey's in the chat, like we said before. Super Omicron's here. Read by Nature. Nicholas Horton. Thank you for also being a member. D-Bud Martin's here swinging around that wrench. Your Muslim uncle's here. We've got Watt or Watt here. We got Grad Admiral Adam. We have Gonzalo Bergali and so many more. Please hit that like button. Sean S-Step is here, the man who made the new Bat Tom possible. Please hit that like button. Has anybody seen Bama Grad yet? I still got to thank him. I've not seen him on a stream lately.
I got to thank him too. We beat Bama this week. Sorry, go ahead.
I think he was on. Wasn't he on Midnight's Edge in the morning the other?
Shoot, if he was, I wish I had known because he sent me. He always sends me like candy and Cracker Jacks, and the Cracker Jacks are always the welcome.
Cool.
Yeah, like I mean, he sends me some of the Palmer candy. I was looking for a specific one, which they don't make anymore. So like, as far as the Palmer candy. Yeah, like there was just one specific one. I know. Well, they're not okay. Full disclosure, they're not the greatest. And he sent me some stuff, and I like it, and I can use it for whatever. But like the ones I liked specifically, they don't make anymore, and I don't know why. I could never find an answer to it, and I've not seen them again. But they used to be like their little wafer ones that they had peanut butter on top and then crispy on the bottom. They don't make them anymore.
Oh, that actually sounds good.
They are pretty good, and because they're like peanut butter cups, but they're like half and half of a peanut butter cup.
Oh, okay.
Just the way that they did it, it just was the way because their chocolate is a bit too sweet actually for my taste.
Oh,
so to be honest, if Bama is actually listening to this, I'll probably use it for something baking or give it to my mom and say, here, make me something like this or something with it. But
or you could make a cup of hot cocoa and drop one or two in, just kind of stir it around.
Because what he gave me is because I munch on them here and there, but they're really sweet. Like he sent me a couple of the chocolate coins, some crispy eyeballs, things like that. So like, yeah, the crispy ones I might eat, most of them. But
don't you like any of the candy that I sent you?
That is not candy, sis.
What candy did you send? What was it?
She keeps trying to pretend that it's candy, and it's not. It's prunes.
It's nature's candy.
Oh, that's not candy.
It's okay.
I didn't know they were making. I guess I did know they were making Cracker Jacks.
No, she's trying to send me healthy things, but you know what? Six did send me that was awesome.
Healthy, that's me.
And then this is like a Christmas present or whatever you want to call it. She sent me a Roku.
Oh, I just got one of those too. Martin
that's good.
Sent me one.
Considering you want to watch the Weird movie, it's on the Roku channel.
You didn't have one either until now?
I didn't have one until now. Yes,
that's the only reason I sent it to him.
Wow, Mark D with the C sent me one a couple months ago. It took me forever to hook it up, but that's good though. It's pretty cool.
No, I appreciate it because now it's finally I have a central hub where I don't have to turn on my Xbox to watch one thing,
it's nice.
Whatever to watch something else and all that kind of business. Now, if I want to watch something on streaming, and I don't have to worry about it not being compatible with something, because that's what I ran into with like Peacock recently.
It's very useful. That was very nice of you, Six. Those things are really nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And Paramount Plus used to be another one I'd have troubles with on the Xbox. So now Roku is supposed to be compatible with everything. So I got that.
Yes.
That is a plus on top of whatever Roku does eventually have on, if there is anything worth a crap. But
at least you got to see that.
No, so I watched Weird. I finally got a chance to check it out. I was half-ish wrong, I guess, with my judgment, but also I was still kind of right, I guess is the way I'll start it out. I think I put it best when I said it's a bit too long.
That's not what she said.
Well, in this case, she said that, and 20 minutes too long, no less, probably. And what else should I say? So it's not bad per se, but it is fat. Get my joke.
It's boom, 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 boom.
And that's what the movie is full of, okay? And to be honest with you, like, I liked when the movie stayed in the Al lane, right? Like, when we knew that, yeah, that happened, but it didn't happen like that, or clearly they're, like, okay, and I know everybody's kind of giving away some of the best jokes of the movie already, and that's the problem. So, like, yeah, so, like, when you clearly know something happened a certain way in real life and you know that's not the way it works, or that's not the way it went, those kind of jokes generally work well. When they start throwing shit in there that is, like, completely asinine and out of left field, it starts to go off the rails. And really, it's one main sticking point. And it could have been easily, like, the joke was funny at first, but then it just kept going too far. It's one of those 5-minute skits that should only be 2, right?
So, that does sound like a little bit like Al's MO, though. But yeah, I hear you.
To a
He loves
point,
running stuff
yes.
into the ground, but I hear you. Yeah.
To a point, yes. Because, I mean, there was some belly laughs throughout. I mean, I maybe had 3 really big laughs throughout the film. But, I mean, I got more of a kick out of the end credits than anything because they show a bunch of, like, historical images of quote-unquote Al, when it's really just his head inserted into various things. But that part kind of made me laugh. In there? Surprisingly, Rainn Wilson, who plays Dr. Demento, is in the movie a lot more than I thought he would be.
Okay.
I thought it was just going to be a quick cameo. No, well, they have a picture of the real one at the end. Like there's like 4 or 5 real pictures of Al. And then once you get past like that one, like I think the Dr. Demento one is like the last real picture. And then once you get past that, they're all fake pictures.
Gotcha.
Like it's like, like he's with the Beatles and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like just
so it's like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, like they try to play that, and and I mean some of the jokes you can see coming from a mile away.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes they play with it a little bit more. But okay, I'll be upfront because it's in the trailer already. The whole sleeping with Madonna bit. The joke only works so far as it does in the trailer because obviously we all know they never fucked each other.
Do we really know that? Huh? Wait a minute. Are you saying to someone that Madonna hasn't had sex with?
I'm pretty sure they never did
in the universe.
And that's not that she didn't probably try. It's more or less that Al said no, probably.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, that's the whole joke of the movie is that if you know anything about Al, he is such a straight edge that
yeah.
They play him off like the typical stereotypical musician. Everything is stereotypical. I was right to a point, okay? It is basically Dewey Cox all over again. A lot of the best jokes so far were already done in Dewey Cox. The Madonna bit is where it goes on way too fucking long because once you get past the main joke, it goes into territory where you're just like, you're wasting 20 minutes of time that could have been spent on clever jokes like you already done up to this point. Because there is a lot of really fun stuff when they play with, you know, this whole idea of the parody song and, you know, the arguably the most famous accordion player in a very specific genre of music.
Yes.
Right. Like they
so what would you
quite a bit.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Sadly, I'd only give it like a 6 or probably a 6 tops.
Okay.
And so it's barely a recommend. And it's just because I did have enough fun with it. If you like Weird Al's music, if you're a fan of Weird Al, you should enjoy it. I'm curious to get around a bunch of other hardcore Weird Al fans like myself.
I'm one of those, so I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. So, and to hear what they think, because I know some will probably love it and some will probably hate it. And I don't know if they'll so much hate it as they wanted an actual Al biopic, or if it was like, to me, because here's my thing at the end that's a problem. I didn't like Daniel Radcliffe. I didn't think he was all that funny. And I mean, I know the character he's trying to play, but I'm still stretching throughout this movie going, the way they've created Al into this egotistical kind of prick, they should have had Al playing himself. And it would have been hilarious for them to try and make him look younger and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
Kind of the whole egotistical thing. Because there is one of the funniest bits in the whole movie is because the people have been already letting it out that Al's in the movie as his agent or whatever. And in that bit, like they're sitting there, they're cutting Al down. And then the other guy takes over and he starts really ripping into Al. And of course, Al's like, hey, let's just take it easy on the kid. You know, like that whole kind of thing is a joke only because you know it's Al saying it, right?
Right.
So to me, I'm like, you could have had that kind of shit throughout the whole movie where it's just Al like playing into this idea that he's so egotistical. And then it would even play into how the movie ends and stuff. And because it really is, it's like it could have used another rewrite, maybe. I don't know. But it has Al's stamp all over it. So that part I can't, bitch about. He's heavily involved in it. He was one of the co-writers, all that business. It only concentrates on like his first 2 albums as far as the music wise go. And they throw in there out of nowhere Amish Paradise.
Those first 3 or 4 were the best ones. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, of course, those are the most well known. But I mean, the only other thing I would say they overlooked that I was kind of like, I can't believe they just left it out completely, even if they're not making fun of it, was the fact that MTV kind of made Weird Al.
Al TV was the greatest.
People forget about how, because he was never really played on the radio.
No.
Dr. Demento and shit like that. But what made Weird Al was MTV. And it worked because that was a medium where he worked best, because not only could you see him and hear him, you could hear him, you could see him, I mean. And he could make fun of the videos and stuff like that. So they really kind of leave that fact out. And some of the other stuff, you know, and again, it's not that I would expect them to get into the factual side of it, but I thought they could have had fun with the whole MTV ride. You know what I mean? Because they really play into the excess. It gets to a point where it goes from starting as a Weird Al biopic parody to being a parody of every one of them. Like they even throw in a Doors one. It's like, you are really deep diving here because you're going back to a movie that's so old that most kids have not seen it. Like, I get what you're doing because I've seen the Doors a million times. Unless you've seen the movie, you're still probably going to be, what the fuck is this? You know, kind of thing, maybe. But because Al just kind of completely starts acting like Jim Morrison there. Like it's a whole bit. They have the whole, you want to see it? See it. You know, like, I'm going to show it to you.
I'm definitely going to watch that later.
Yeah, it's got its moments. I wish they would have just had Al play himself. I think it would have worked better.
I gotcha.
That's just my only real big gripe, besides the Madonna thing goes on for way too long and twisted. You'll see where it goes. It's just
I hear you. Yeah.
How have the reviews been?
Let's see what the Rotten Tomatoes say. I didn't expect to talk about Weird Al for 15 minutes, but
I loved Al TV was great.
It really only takes place during his first
early times.
For the most part, but like I said, they slide into Amish Paradise there, but it's kind of clearly out of time. I mean, they really only show him like write a few songs.
Well, looks definitely going to take a look at it then.
I mean, there's even silly things where it's like, well, that's kind of weird. I don't know why they did it that way. Like they have him recording in a bus station bathroom. They have him recording.
My Bologna.
When we all know he recorded Another One Rides the Bus in the bathroom. What he did in the bathroom. Yeah,
that's right. They got that wrong.
And they did. It's almost like it's on purpose. It's weird. So like maybe they did do that on purpose, but it's kind of like at the same time, it's like, why just flip flop the two? Because they have the Another One Rides the Bus in a different scene, but I guess it's doing all right. It's doing 85% on critic score.
Oh, there you go.
And 88% for an audience score.
Did you ever see him perform live?
No, when I was supposed to, my buddy had some tickets to go see him. It was right when his parents died, so he had canceled all those.
Really?
Yeah,
I went twice, but when we went, it was just a couple of weeks after his parents died. He showed up.
Because he did the show the night his folks died. He rescheduled the ones, and I just couldn't go because he's like, "Are you still gonna go?" Because they rescheduled it, and he's like, "No, I can't," because now it was like a weekend that I couldn't go or whatever it was.
Real close to it, the first time I saw him. And he was, of course, spectacular. He was fantastic, obviously. I mean, you're sitting there with the knowledge of what happened. Yeah. You're like, wow, man, he's up there.
Well, and I think he was in Minnesota when it happened.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't remember exactly, but he's around here somewhere because then like his next show or the show after that, one of the two, was supposed to be coming up. And then I couldn't make it because when they rescheduled it. But, you know, it's just one of those things that I'd like to see him live at least.
No, he's great. Dude, it's really, I mean,
I've got a couple
really
concerts
amazing.
on DVD and Blu-ray, but yeah.
Yeah, they're really a lot of fun to be there. I'd go again if I could. I only got to go twice, but he still gets down close to here sometimes. But
yeah. I mean, I think this 88 is a little high. I'm surprised it's not more in the 70s range, but that is what it is. I mean, maybe even the fans are digging it more than me. I guess maybe I had some different kind of expectations going into it.
I didn't see Chato's review of it yet, but I think he's reviewed it. So
he did. He put out a video, but I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. So, but thank you to Six for making that possible. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're awesome, Six.
You are. And then we have Darius Moonshausen here, who's also awesome, and he sends us in a red box of popcorn. I could have used some popcorn last night.
Popcorn.
He's also been a member for 19 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you for that. And then Brett Cohen also sends us a super sticker. It is a Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, farting hearts.
Brett.
Thank you for that, Brett. How you been, Brett? It's been a tick since I've seen you. It's been like a couple MEAD radios ago. But yeah, I see Larry in the house. It's been a while since I've seen you too. I'm glad to see some faces, familiar faces here I haven't seen in a
There's
bit.
Paulie.
Paulie's in the chat?
Yeah, what's up? Paulie.
I'll send you a link if you're not busy, Paulie.
Get in here, man. He's some weirdo with the channel. I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah, it's something like a Latink Slant.
Yeah. Latino bias or something.
Yeah. Wilcoso Inc. Is that it?
Wilcoso, yeah. Wilcoso, yeah.
Wilcoso Inc.
There's VW.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Let's almost 300 watching as we got Vigilante Williamson's here too. Yeah. How you doing, Vigilante?
Dude, a Lions fan, so I always feel for you, buddy. Sorry, but you won this week.
And Das Wolfen has been a member for 5 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you for that, Das Wolfen. We appreciate
Hi, Das
that.
Wolfen.
Hello. We had a member stream earlier. If you missed that, sorry about that. But we'll hopefully have another one soon. I want to get one for the weekend so we should try to. I told Andre we need to try and do one during the week and one on the weekend every month. But
I like that one you did at like 6 a.m.
Oh wow!
Well, it was nice for the
overnight one.
Crowd.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for the international people. I guess
it's like your bedtime.
One in Florida. Yeah.
Hey, Sander.
6:00 in the morning. Sometimes.
Yeah, Lions are already on the clock. But look, you beat Tom's Packers. So
did they really?
They're worst.
I haven't watched a Packer game in a while.
Now,
yeah. I haven't had time for sports since I started doing this job, man.
I understand. You're better off.
But something I also haven't had time to do yet is see Black Adam. But you got to see it, Clobby, right? And I don't remember.
I
did. You see it 6? Good talk. No.
Did you see it 6?
What?
Did you
see Black Adam? I couldn't remember.
No. I'm going to buy it, but I'm not going
to. Okay.
Going to the theater is too much effort.
So usually I know you get to see most of the newer ones, but this is an interesting article that I came across the other day or yesterday that was kind of funny. I think Andre's going to do an editorial about it. So let's editorialize ourselves here right now. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this. Black Adam's fan reception is problematic for the DCU's future.
Really? Problematic, huh? I love that word.
Already, the title is giving us a great
boy.
sense of dread. With critics panning Black Adam, but audiences adoring the film. See, this is the sticking point.
I don't know about adoring, though. Really? I mean, seriously.
Let's just see what they have to say. Okay. Warner Brothers could be duped into thinking that the formula it's the formula to move forward with. Okay. First of all, we need to stress how much that this film is a Zaslav cut. We have heard from the top down from several different places now that there was a woke cut, pretty much. Or at least Andre can fucking tell there was. And this has definitely been a revised version. So let's keep that in mind first and foremost. This is a movie that's been done now for a little while. Done way before the regime. And it's not like it's making $1 billion at the box office here, Ronaldo. That's this guy's name, Ronaldo Matadine. In case you're wondering who's positing this bullshit. This comes from 3 days ago. So, warning. Following contains spoilers for the Black Adam movie now in theaters. So in case you haven't seen it yet and you really are worried about spoilers, you might want to stick around. It probably has something to do with Super.
Yes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet that's what it is. Because I read this and I don't really remember seeing anything too out of place here. But anyway, when the critics began revealing their takes on Black Adam, many wondered if the DC had churned out another bomb. It would have been disappointing given DC fans, comic book movie fans in general, want to see heroes such as Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League doing well on the big screen. It's not just about having a competitor for Marvel, but giving fans old and new the joy of witnessing some pop culture's most iconic faces fighting their villains in cinematic grandeur. It paints an interesting dichotomy, however, with Rotten Tomatoes' critical score at 39%, but the audience is at 90%, indicating fans love Dwayne Johnson's anti-hero. However, while the movie's success is great, is it really though? It's not made a whole lot of money. I mean, it's doing okay. Viewers receiving the film so well isn't good for the DC universe moving forward long term.
It's not good to be even moderately successful, I guess. It's not good to not bomb, I guess.
Well, not just that, but like, here's the thing. This article is bullshit right off the front, I'll say, because if the movie was made, oh man, here's a guy who comes in at a perfect goddamn time for this, Mr. Renegade. How you doing?
What's up,
bro?
dude?
Oh God, I'm tired.
Oh, I hear you. Well, we'll get to you in just a moment.
That
So
was a
take a breath here.
Yeah.
Because we're bitching about something else here right now. What we got here, just getting started on. So
Yeah, I did a video on the Black Adam stuff.
Okay,
No,
so
I've been
you-
listening the last 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. So just
Yeah.
keep listening, and you can take a breath, and then we'll move back into your video from earlier, unless you've got to run right away.
No. With Black Adam, what you were saying was spot on. Is the fact that the audiences love it, but just like Andor, there's simply not enough of them at 328 million. I ran the numbers earlier today. I did it in the video that I did this morning on this with Black Adam and Wakanda Forever. That's about 152.3 or 153.2 million dollars roughly that has gone back based on the domestic and international breakdown to Warner Brothers from this film at this point. Production budget listed at 200. They probably spent another, even with the economies of scale that Zaslav was bragging about on the earnings call with this movie for marketing, they probably still spent another 80 to 100 million dollars on this thing. So they still really need to get to about 600 million. They ain't gonna get anywhere close.
I think this one's gonna have this one. Well, that's the thing. This is like not even a loss leader, right? This is a pickup. This is something that Discovery's inheriting. They didn't really put any money out for this.
No. From that standpoint, I'm just talking about purely from the movie itself. Yeah, no, this was nothing that's on the slate for the next at least 12 months is a Zaslav piece, right? The Flash, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, all these things were completed long before Zaslav even set his first foot in the door.
Yeah, and the main point I was going to get to here, though, is what he's going on about, what he's upset about, is he thinks that the fans getting what they want is a problem. Let's be real here. That's what this is really about. Because we have to remember who are putting these things out, right? These are the same people who have been fighting for woke bullshit, right? So them just saying that's really what this boils down to. So let's quickly read through this, but I think that's kind of what we'll all come away with. With Shazam and Aquaman coming off as more inspirational, lighthearted movies, and the violent side of the DCU being tended to via Peacemaker and Amanda Waller's Task Force X, make no mistake, Black Adam's violence does have a place. It's the very nature of the character, unlike what transpired in Man of Steel. But while Adam himself is on brand, that doesn't mean a charismatic lead should give the film. That doesn't mean that. That's what it's written. Okay, give the film a pass. Yes, the fans love Johnson and his WWE time as The Rock, but still, the outpouring of love can backfire due to the movie's many flaws. Now, fans are entitled to their own opinions, but Black Adam isn't that good of a film. The plot is rushed, the dialogue is lacking, and it relies heavily on the typical CGI-laced finale that flopped for Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, to name a few. Okay, stop right there.
Yeah, I was about to say, can I interject a thought?
Please do, Valiant.
I want to reread the same paragraph you just read, but I want you to replace Black Adam with Black Panther and the words fans with critics. Let's go for that, shall we?
Yeah, that's really what this is boiling down to, is that the critics have got to start coming out in defense, right? They're on the defense mode right now because they know that we're not buying their bullshit anymore. We are pissing them off. And I mean by we, I mean the collective we. Valiant, us, all these guys on the YouTubes that are
actually... It's the royal we, dude.
The royal we, dude. Not me, the royal we. But like, us when we talk about these movies, because you guys listening trust us more than you do them. And that's what's scaring them right now.
They hate it.
This is part of the final re. So get ready, kids. Yeah. We're in the midst of it right now. Oh, we lost 6.
We lost 6.
Oh, 6. No, where are you?
Oh, she's got an audio lag. She'll be right back.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So, yeah, here's Rory. The movie doesn't focus on Black Adam's racial identity. Ignore the fans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now I hate it all of a sudden.
Here's the thing, and he's trying to compare this to the reactions of Man of Steel, Suicide Squad. Why is Wonder Woman even being mentioned here?
I don't know.
Like, that's the one that I don't even understand, because that was the outlier to begin with, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Suicide Squad wasn't fucking dark. Suicide Squad would give you fucking diabetes if you weren't careful. It was that goddamn bright and colorful.
The first one?
Yeah, the original one. Unless he's
Pretty
talking
violent.
about because he didn't say the Suicide Squad.
He's talking about the original. I thought it was pretty dark though.
The dialogue is lacking. It's an action film, you ass.
And notice he didn't mention Man of Steel, which is probably the one I would probably compare it to the most. Because really, that's what Man of Steel was a Black Adam movie.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't Superman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he had probably more in common with Black Adam than he did with Superman.
Right. Yeah,
and then
that's true.
I don't remember people coming out of BVS or Wonder Woman, for that matter, talking about it the way they did this film. Even the people that are critiquing it, right? Like, I'm not talking about the ones who enjoyed it. I'm talking about the people who actually didn't like it as much. Even people who didn't like it as much, they still didn't go to the extent that they did with those movies that are mentioned there. And this is a hodgepodge of shit that doesn't even belong to the others.
This fool doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, this is just a foolish, you're right about that, foolish attempt at trying to make himself and his opinion and other critics' opinion worthwhile. Anyway, Warner can't go back to the early Snyder era. What duh? They're not going to.
No.
Like, who the fuck thinks this is a good... Okay,
I was assured they are. Last week I was going
to say, there's tons of people out there selling
Snyder who thinks they are bringing him back.
There's a lot of people that think that just because of the mere fact that they are going to retain a lot of the same cast. And I cautioned people about this weeks ago. When you guys started busting the news about, well, you know, they're talking to Cavill, and all the Snyder people came out. And look, I don't have anything personal against Zack Snyder, his movies, or the fans. I appreciate all y'all. I am just speaking from the business side of things. You can't look at this like, well, they're bringing back Cavill and Gal Gadot, and they still have Jason Momoa, and they're going to have Ben Affleck. Yes, but they're not bringing back Zack Snyder. You do realize that, you know, if they don't re-sign Zack Snyder, your whole Snyderverse argument is kind of bullshit, right? So I mean, they're keeping the actors because Jason Momoa sells tickets. Henry Cavill sells tickets. They just didn't give Cavill the right movie. I mean, the fact that Man of Steel got what it did was because of Cavill, not because of the writing in the film itself. I mean,
true.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'll
same
carry
thing
this
with
around
Gal
in my
Gadot.
pocket everywhere I go right now.
Very true.
Our initial focus is on the story going forward, hammering out the new DCU.
And by new, we mean Snyderverse. Oh, wait, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
Wait, I'm sorry. No,
Sorry,
the
Snyder's.
opposite of that. My mistake.
Okay, I'll even give the what do you call it? I'll give the caveat, right? The caveat that they may actually talk Snyder into coming back and directing something at some point in the DC universe. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, they probably will.
But the chances of that are slim to none.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
And people are trying to draw fucking here. Oh, we got 6 back.
6.
Welcome back, 6. Yay. Can you hear us okay?
She's there.
6.
Muted.
Retro.
She's still muted, so we'll let her.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
No lag. Okay.
Okay, good. All right. So, what was I saying now?
How they're not bringing Snyder back.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Whoa, 6 is like spilling her boobs. No, I'm kidding.
Got that wine glass just went over. I heard that was a wine glass falling. I heard that. I know what that sounds like.
No, like if the Snyder cut was such a hit, we wouldn't have motherfucking James Gunn running DC.
Of course.
It'd be Zack Snyder. They would have hired Zack Snyder.
Snyder. Just like if the Snyder cut was such a hit. I could have a bit by now. I tell you what, if the Snyder cut was such a hit, we'd have the Ayer cut by now.
Well, and people are saying, well, they're talking about, we could bring back the Ayer cut. Okay, there's a big difference between whether Warner Brothers or Zaslav decides to spend, and it's certainly not going to be $80 million like they did additionally on the Snyder cut, right? But let's say they decide, okay, we think there's a marketable solution here to where we can give this core of fans what they want. We can spend $10 million reassembling this film, and maybe through PVOD pick up $20, $30 million in PVOD sales for an Ayers cut. Okay, we'll do it. That does not mean that the Snyderverse is coming back. It just means that, hey, we can market this and make money on something we already did.
it's something they can toss the fans, right? It's
Right.
something that you can say here. Because like I said, if the Snyder Cut was such a huge hit, we would have gotten the Ayer Cut by now. Because it exists. It's even more done than the Snyder Cut ever was.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is that he didn't see enough. Look, the Snyder Cut brought in just under $16 million on disc sales. That ain't shit.
And it did not effectively move the needle on HBO Max subscriptions.
Not to the point where, that's where I said, all you people signing up now just because you're getting what you're wanting, it's not going to make a difference. It's only going to make a difference is if you sign up when the sucker drops and you watch it 20 goddamn times. And here's the thing that I was told and was backed up by other reporting completely separate from what I heard. And that was that 60% of the people that watched it dropped out, meaning they didn't finish fucking watching it.
Because it's 8 hours long, that's why.
And not
That's
to
part of
mention the
problem,
fact that we know, statistically speaking, that people that sign up for streaming services to watch a movie that's exclusive to streaming do not hang. The churn rate for those people is astronomically higher than the normal streaming subscription.
And that's why they don't burn the money they do on a movie to advertise it, right, Valiant? Like,
no, they don't. Exactly. It's
Coming
just,
to America didn't get a ton of advertising behind it, even though it was the biggest success Amazon's had movie-wise.
No, and let me give the audience, and again, this is my opinion based on business and financial experience. Looking
Same thing
back,
with the Zack Snyder thing. It has nothing to do with how I feel about it, right? It's just pure numbers.
That's it. And looking back on it now, seeing what Zaslav has done, the comments that he has made, him and JB Perrette, who are just, pardon my French, are total dick swingers when it comes to the earnings calls, and they're glorious to listen to. But, I mean, one of the reasons that Jason Kilar was fired for his just completely boneheaded Project Popcorn, okay, that sunk the world they lost probably a couple $2 billion that year because of his stupid decisions. I think the only reason that they managed to convince Warner Media and AT&T to spend the $80 million on that is because Kilar was going completely all in on this day and date shit. He was going balls to the wall with trying to drive HBO Max subscription numbers. He saw all the tweets and the hashtags that were floating around out there. He managed to convince AT&T this is a good idea. Let's grab another $80 million. This is going to drive a shit ton of new subs to HBO Max. We'll put it on here exclusively. Let Zack Snyder finish it. And it didn't work. That was just another nail in the coffin for Jason Kilar, which is why the first thing that David Zaslav did when he got in there was fire his ass.
Yeah. No, I'm not too worried about DC going forward. They really have to fuck things up at this point. Like, they've gone out of their way above and beyond. I've heard enough about Zaslav from multiple places, the same things. I'm pretty sure Batman's back. So, like, it's a best of both worlds thing. It's like, just be happy, because all the Snyder, like, if there happens, and I know it's pointed out, like, how many of these delusional Snyder people are still left, like, listening? I know there's a few people out there who still probably believe this, and they want to believe this. They want the hope. And there's some people that are selling the hope.
And I have nothing against those people at all.
And even
nothing.
Snyder is fucking guilty of it most of all. Because he went out there and put that tweet out there, I can't wait to work with Henry Cavill again. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be working on a Superman movie, folks. I guarantee you the last thing they're going to let him touch is a fucking Superman movie.
Yes.
The closest thing they'll let him to is maybe a Batman movie. But even the new rumor going around is, and again, I'm not so sure about this one because it's being posited by fans. I've heard nothing to this extent. Is that Andy Muschietti is supposed to be directing a Justice League 2. Well, going off that same thing I just showed you guys before that James Gunn put out there, he flat out said in that tweet thread that the first thing we put out is not going to be a revival film, meaning it's going to be something new and original that we haven't seen before. I don't know if it's going to be New Gods. I don't know if it's going to be something completely different. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of Suicide Squad type thing. It's obviously not going to be Justice League, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Superman. We know that right now. Although Superman is getting fast-tracked. That's all we know.
Maybe
but that's still
Lobo.
That's the thing. And 6, you had brought that up earlier. Where is this here? Because I think you posted in the background here.
Yeah, I can't access it because I have.
And I apologize. I just got a text. I've got to go pick up a kid.
No, because I need you for the Disney shit. Well, if you
I
can't
know.
make it back here, please do.
Give me about 30 minutes. And today's kind of screwy only because
we might still be live by
well,
then,
school was out today, So it's throwing my schedule off. Like, I know what I normally do on Tuesdays with picking up kids, but like, because school was out today, because schools are used as polling locations for election day, it's kind of screwing things up. It's not, it's out of the ordinary. But anyway, I got to go pick up Renegade Jr. If I get back here, if y'all still going in about 30 minutes, I'll pop back in. I'll give you a quick rundown on the Disney stuff.
Cool.
It might sync up perfectly. So
okay. See you in a bit.
Because on that note, you don't have it here, but you said that James Gunn had posted a picture of Lobo. Was it on Instagram?
No, it was on Mastodon. I sent it to you on Facebook.
Okay.
The link. I think it was like the last thing I sent you.
Okay. Oh, here it is.
You don't need an account to open it.
Okay. I think I got it. It's got to load up. Okay, it says, glad to be here. And it has a picture of Lobo. So I'm curious, especially Clobby, what's your reaction to this? Because this is a character that we've said would be right up Gunn's alley, right?
It's just he would probably be if there's a guy to make a Lobo movie, it would be him. I mean, no question about it. I mean, he's pretty much, everything he does is jokes and jokes and jokes. That's all Lobo is. Lobo's not a very serious character, so yeah, the main man, as they call him. And this is from one of the older 90s comics, probably. So he's a fan of him. I can see him being a fan of Lobo. And the guy who really should have been casting him would have been Momo, as someone just says there in the chat. I would like to call him Jason Momoa. Would have been the perfect Lobo.
Okay, there's this video that Jason Momoa dropped yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. And honestly, I wouldn't have necessarily jumped to a DC conclusion had it not been for another thing I think you brought to my attention, Six, where he was talking about Mr. H, I think, brought it to my attention, this thing, where he's talking about a secret project or a secret wish that he has, a project he wants to do for DC. And then this video comes out close to that, and he's saying Maestro, and I think he's referring to James Gunn. And is there some comic somewhere that Lobo and Aquaman fight or something like that, or meet up at all, Clobby?
Oh, I mean, they've bumped into each other from time to time. I'm sure in a couple of comics. I can't remember any specific example, but I'm sure it's happened. I mean, again, Aquaman in the comics is nothing like the Momo version.
I know
Lobo
he isn't.
is Lobo.
The only
He's
other
acting like Lobo as Aquaman even. But
what's weird is if I could see in some like alternate universe, they turn around and have him come back from the Flashpoint paradox as Lobo instead of fucking.
That would be something.
But that is crazy. Never gonna happen. Shit. But
Lobo,
for James Gunn to post this is kind of weird. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they tangled. I mean, I can't remember any specific examples, but I know that Superman used to go at it and stuff like that. So,
what about an Aquaman and Lobo movie?
Hey,
that's what I was just asking about, is like if they had ever faced each other before. But now that you bring that up, Clobby, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're doing Superman as the villain in the next, Lobo is the villain in the next Superman.
Lobo meeting Superman would that's something that's happened quite a bit. So
yeah, I can see more so.
But I can't think of a specific time he's met Aquaman, but it could have happened way after I stopped reading any of the comics, because I never looked. But back then when Lobo came out and became popular, I never bought his comic much. I never liked him. He's never my bag, so I didn't really mess with him that much.
The most of him I know is through Superman, basically. So.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because earlier on the Midnight Sedge members stream, you mentioned Lobo because somebody in chat had asked what comic book character you'd like to see on screen or something, Tom, and didn't you mention Lobo?
Yeah,
and
he's a fun character.
Yeah, and that was before this news dropped.
He's kind of like, for those who don't know, he's kind of like, you're right. He's basically what Jason Momoa was, add a little bit of edge to him.
I think he's teasing him for Superman. I think he's going to put him in.
I think you're right.
Have him slugging out, because you want to have him slug it out with somebody. And he's, who are you going to have him fight? Tired of fighting Kryptonians. The other Superman has some other physical villains for sure, like the Parasite and some other ones that he could, have battles with and fight at Doomsday, that kind of stuff. But I think since it's Gunn, I could see him, taking kind of a bit of a left turn and having Superman, have to tangle with Lobo.
What about Bautista as Lobo?
No.
I wouldn't put it past Gunn. I wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the only reason I jumped to that. But
wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't want to see it.
Unless you did some super, like, that's the thing. Unless that's just some magic like reset juice that James Gunn has. He's like, you know what? From now on, you're not going to be Aquaman. You're going to be Lobo. And that was what the
Yep.
phone call was.
Maybe he,
I
you know,
have no idea.
who would play Sheriff Lobo? Claude Akins? He's gone. So, sorry. No one remembers that show, do they? Sorry.
Because that's the big question: is who else could play Lobo besides Jason Momoa? Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
He was so perfect
He's
for
so
that
perfect for that role.
character.
He's so not perfect for Aquaman, but he still made $1 billion for him. So he's just not Aquaman. But
If Dolph
And I-
Lundgren was 20
yeah.
years younger, yes, Sander.
but you gotta have the personality too. I don't know if Dolph Lundgren
Yeah.
would have that kind of person. I mean, the personality
pulled
on
that
Momo is so perfect. I mean,
It is, but like,
because even when he's Aquaman, if you told me, hey, look, if you said Lobo in my head, like while I'm watching him as Aquaman, I go, yeah, he's pretty much Lobo. He acts
Carl
like him.
Urban could pull it off. You're right, Pete Nencat. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I could see Carl Urban pulling that off.
he's a good actor. Yeah,
I think he's too old too.
He might be a little too old. Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to take a new character on screen, I don't mean a new character overall, but if they're going to, start putting Lobo on screen, they're going to want to start with a younger actor, because if they start with somebody who's too old already,
Maybe.
what if this Lobo character blows up and he starts, he's in like top 10 of favorite comic book characters put on screen,
He
or
has
something
that
like that.
potential. He has the potential of being like the Deadpool of the DCU. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think that they would want. They're going to want somebody who they can lock in.
It's such a rare combination that you need. You need the Momo type personality to be Lobo, and you need to look like him too. And he's got the look and can actually. I mean, like I said, he's got that kind of. I don't know. He just acts like Lobo. When he's playing Aquaman, I don't think about Aquaman. I don't think about him at all. In the first Aquaman film, Patrick Wilson, who's pretty good as Ocean Master, Orm. I'm seeing him. There are times I see his face. He looks just like Aquaman. And this dude he's playing, this dude, bro, doesn't look like Aquaman, but he's perfect for Lobo. So I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that has both of those two things. The type, he's that type, he's that gregarious type, and he looks like him.
Yeah.
Can't think of one. I'm sure there's somebody.
Colonizer Jeebus sent us somebody's picture. I don't know who that is. I don't do wrestling.
He told me to check my
idea. I have no idea who that is.
I don't know anything about wrestling either, but
yeah,
that guy does look like he sort of looks like Momo, doesn't he?
I mean, if it's somebody that Momo
He can play
knew,
Lobo.
maybe.
I don't know who that is though, Colonizer. I must admit, I'm lacking in that area. Yep, well, like the classic says, just get some wrestler to do it. That's pretty much. You're gonna have to have the someone with the bod for it, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
a lot of people are saying Gerard Butler and what's his face, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You got to have that snarky attitude. You got to have that guy that.
Well, what I was saying about Dolph Lundgren is he basically played that role already in Universal Soldier and the Expendables.
You actually have to be pretty good with comedy too. I mean, in other words,
Chris Hemsworth. Now that's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea, because remember, you got to have somebody who's good with comedy. Because Lobo's he's not a laid back cat either. He's smart ass, and he's insolent, and he's arrogant, and he's vulgar. He's all these things.
I think Chris Hemsworth has the chops now to pull this off.
Because you got to have somebody. Yeah, you can't have just like a stoic, laid back kind of an actor.
He's proved to us enough now that he has a comedic timing, as long as you give him good material.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what you need with Lobo anyway. He's because he is kind of a more of a funnier character. But
yeah, that's so much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they might be setting him up as the foil for Superman in the next movie.
Certainly an appearance anyway. It could be like a cameo, like a one. Have him pop in there for down the road. Have him like pop up and fight Superman for 2 seconds or something.
Oh, and they might have him actually as the villain. I can see that.
Yeah, that's just he's.
I mean, a semi-villain, not the actual villain, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he'll kind of have a run-in with him.
Yeah. And speaking of people showing up, I guess George Lopez has added some credence to this business going around about Blue Beetle now, because we had heard that he had said before, and something that Paulie had talked about this morning on when I talked to him on the member stream, that Rodriguez or they had brought up that Supergirl, Superman, and Batman were all mentioned in the movie, but now he's saying something else as well. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt or however you want to put it. But let's see what George has to say here. Lopez, I mean, did I say
You're on Marvel. DC is coming out with the first Latino superhero.
No,
So
he's
it's the producer, writer, and director, all Latinos. And that guy's the director of it. So he says, there's no script. It's called the Blue Beetle. The kid from Cobra Kai is playing the Blue Beetle. So, it's all very private. It was going to be on HBO Max only. And then Warner Brothers saw the script. They saw the people involved. So it has a release date of August 2023. So I got cast to be the uncle in the Blue Beetle. So I'm going to be the uncle in the Blue Beetle series, which nobody knows about yet.
Oh, wow. And that's going to be on Netflix, or is that going to be?
No, it's going to be released. It'll be a worldwide release.
Oh, wow.
Because it's DC. So when they sent the offer, there's an offer for one movie, and then under it, there's 10 more offers for other.
Wow. So you said the kid from Cobra Kai
It's going to be the
Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm
That's
the
so
uncle.
cool.
And I'm the uncle in the Blue Beetle.
That is so cool, George.
Which is big, man. I mean,
Man, that
I've
is
had
so
quite a
cool.
career, but to get involved in the DC universe is big. Batman,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Batman is in our movie, but
Yeah.
it's a big, big deal.
Yeah. DC got everybody.
And
all the
nobody knows
superheroes, man.
right now but you guys.
Well, there you go. See? Cool.
And I'm the uncle in the Blue Beetle.
That is so cool, George.
Which is big, man. I mean,
Man, that
I've
is
had
so
quite a
cool.
career, but to get involved in the DC universe is big. Batman,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Batman is in our movie, but
Yeah.
it's a
So there
big,
you
big
go.
deal.
Yeah. DC got everybody.
And
all the
nobody knows
superheroes, man.
right now but you guys.
Well, there you go. See, that's what's happening when you're watching the.
So take that with a grain of salt, but evidently Batman is supposed to be showing up in Blue Beetle as well. Your reaction to that, guys?
First of all, he's first Latino superhero in a movie.
That's true.
He's saying, and I'm not even so clear on that for sure, but not in all
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I think he kind of was. saying
White
that,
Tiger
yeah.
was way before him, but I mean, I can't remember who the exact first one was. Probably Marvel's White Tiger. There could have been one before that. Technically, if you want to be honest, it's Zorro, but he wasn't really exactly a superhero, but he was a costume crime fighter. So, anyway, but yes, in a movie though. Sorry, go ahead. He's why not? They keep putting him in everything else, and he does have a relationship with Jaime Reyes, this version of the Blue Beetle. So it wouldn't surprise me that they put him in there for some juice for the film. So we'll see. I don't know if I believe it or not. I don't disbelieve it. You?
No, I think it makes sense because I thought I'd heard him about Ben Affleck's shooting a couple of cameos when they had him for the Aquaman bit. So it could be possible. Could be very well possible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So said Speedy Gonzalez was a superior. Sort of, yeah, that's fair enough.
And if that's the case, then that means that Zaslav might have had some influence on this since it was so early in the game still. I mean, we know they've been shooting it for a little bit, but they may have been in the process of pickup shoots or whatever when Affleck was doing his cameo or reshooting his bits or shooting his bits for the reshoots of Aquaman is what I'm trying to say. Blah.
Yeah.
And just pulled him aside and said, hey, we want you to do this, this, and this for Blue Beetle or whatever. Yeah.
That's a good point. Someone said, was it Santo was actually also one of the earlier superheroes. He wasn't in one of the comics. It
I think
wasn't
he
in
meant
one-
just in a
Marvel or
film.
DC, but yeah. Santo
I
was
think he
in
meant
movies.
as a lead film, but yeah.
Santo was in movies. You know those old movies with that masked Marvel from those old Mexican films?
And Speedy Gonzalez was the first time.
That's fair. Yeah. Or Zorro. Yeah.
Zorro. Yeah, don't forget Zorro. Yeah, see, that's the only one. Yeah, now that you brought Zorro, I didn't even think of that. I
Although-
guess he wouldn't be a superhero, but like Batman, basically. So
Yep. He was I consider Batman a superhero, so he's
no,
I've
I
had that
consider
argument,
Zorro
so
one of the first.
Zorro's- yeah.
So
He's super.
yeah, no, I disagree with that. You're right. George did a big disservice. He pulled a what's his face, Simu Liu or whatever his name.
Right. I
Never
think that-
seen any Asian heroes in my life.
I think maybe the first in media on some sort of media, whether and it was on a cartoon that was a Latino superhero on the Super Friends, El Dorado.
Oh yeah,
Remember from Super Friends?
Wildcat. That's another one. Yep.
Wildcat was later.
And doesn't I was gonna say, don't
In
the,
the comics.
X-Men have a few too anyway? But yeah.
They might. Wildcat, of course, Yolanda, the Yolanda version of Wildcat was in mid '80s, so but she was later. But for DC, it was probably
That's the one I know.
Alvarado. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Keely Chow,
Yeah.
roll tide. I'm calling Zorro a superhero just for the hell of it, T. But I can't prove it in the court of law or anything.
No, but I think you got a point because he's kind of one of the first. Even though he's started in pulp,
Costume adventurer though. He's one of the
he's
first.
a costumed
of all of
adventurer.
them.
He had comic strips. I'm sure he had some of the earlier comic books.
Well, they've done some comic strips. There've been a lot of strips,
Because I kind of consider him and Tarzan like the first two real superheroes. Like they're kind of the.
Well, by that metric, John Carter might be the first superhero.
And John Carter, yeah, don't
John
forget
Carter
about John
had
Carter.
superpowers, although he started in books and pulps actually. So he might have been the first fictional superpower being.
Between those three and all like
One
the
of the
H.G.
first.
Wells, between those three characters and all the H.G. Wells stuff, like to me, you got to have all that stuff, and then that leads and funnels into what Superman was, and then from there that funnel spreads out into, what comic books became, right?
Of course.
If you get my drift, I mean, if you disagree with me, please, but this is my interpretation of the history of it, right? Because you had, at that time you had Jules Verne and H.G. Wells all coming out with very fanciful sci-fi stories we'd never really seen before, and I'm sure there's a couple others I'm forgetting, maybe George, what's his face, and a couple others. But so you had all that happen, and then you had, of course, Tarzan came about and Zorro, right? And those two characters, along with, like you said, John Carter of Mars, was a new kind of superhero. You could probably even throw in Flash Gordon and stuff like that in there too.
You have your pulp heroes, but an actual superpowered hero, John Carter on Mars, has superpowers. There's also Philip Wilde wrote a book called Gladiator,
and we can't forget the Shadow either.
The character called Gladiator, Philip Wilde, basically was a superpowered being that Siegel and Schuster later, when they changed their original Superman idea, based a lot of Superman on him. That was in the 1920s. He's from. Yeah. So, but yeah, as far as in comics, Superman's still number one. In comic strips, the Phantom's the first costumed hero. And in radios, Lone Ranger, Green Hornet actually predates all of them on radio. So
that's true. And then you also have, shout outs, of course, to the Phantom and Conan. See in the chat, and definitely. And the Shadow is one that I don't think if it wasn't for the Shadow.
Again, pulp hero.
Yeah, a lot of the pulp heroes led to a lot of that, right? Like to me,
right to radio, and then So putting them in order.
Radio was kind of the hub of it all, right? Because if you stop and look at it, when they did the radio shows, that's where you see like that was the movies of its time, because the radio shows influenced the comic books going forward, right? You had Jimmy Olsen, Kryptonite, all those things came from the radio shows of Superman, for instance. What his name? But the guy who did the voice on the radio show went on to do the animated version. Bud Collyer. That's what I was trying to say.
Clayton Bud Collyer was his full name.
Yeah.
But so it's all like someone mentioned Dick Tracy. He was a strip character for Chester Gould, but he was very early on. So he was a cop, but wasn't really superhero.
Dick Tracy, I would say, is a heavy influence on Batman, though. You can't get to Batman without Dick Tracy, right? Like there's a clear line.
He was a cop, but still, he was very.
But what I mean is, you have the detective
villains,
and the villains, especially. That's what I was just going to say. The villains,
first really set of colorful types of villains.
You can trace back the idea that Bob Kane clearly was a fan of Dick Tracy, or whoever, Bill Finger.
Well, Bill Finger
was clearly a fan, of Dick Tracy, to where this idea of colorful, flashy villains.
Really, Bob,
gangster villains, no less. Because if you look at it, really, Joker is a gangster villain. So is Penguin in a way, and some of these other ones are kind of,
Someone says, Claudia, come on, Bats doesn't have powers either. Sure he does. He's rich. Just kidding. No. But he
injects that shit in his veins.
Joke in that. Yeah. Now, he doesn't have to. Batman's a superhero because by default, because he's the ultimate and peak of human perfection. Plus, if you're a member of the Justice Society and Justice League, you're a superhero. Sorry. And wear a costume and you fight. Never, but see, it doesn't just mean superpowers, but some people just think it does. When Marvel and DC have co-rights to the damn word superhero. So, anyway, but that's an old argument for another time. And what goes first and second? Doc Savage. A lot of Superman is based on Doc Savage, Pete.
Oh yeah,
that's right. I love that.
Savage.
It's weird how we only had all this time. Doc Savage has been around so long. We only have the one Doc Savage movie. Well, I mean, that's a good thing.
We were
'cause
supposed to be getting one, but I haven't heard anything about
We
it
only got
since
the
in a
one.
while.
yeah, but it's been rumored, but he's not popular enough. Just like Flash Gordon's probably not popular enough anymore. You hear rumors all the time. You know, the George Powell, as much as I love Ron Ely, that Doc Savage movie had a lot wrong with it in the 70s. No one even knows about it because it was 10 years after the Batman craze and it was too campy like that. But I still kind of like it just because, I don't know if you've seen it. With Ron Ely,
No, but I'm
Doc
aware of
Savage.
it. No, but I'm aware of it. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But
Anyway, I was
Jeremiah
going all over the
Hembry.
place. Go ahead.
Jeremiah Hembry says, my governor, Ron DeSantis, just won re-election. I think Disney is going to have to do a lot better because they're going to deal with the Republican governor for the next 4 years. Yes, it's not a good turn of events for them, but
I
we'll
haven't
have to
seen.
see.
Is that true? Did that happen
play the
already? Did he
politics.
call that already?
I've seen a few people say it, so I think that one might be.
Oh, cool.
And that's on the East Coast, so it's early enough that they might have already called that one.
Gotcha.
That's already, because it's past 8 out on the East Coast. So that's very possible. But now, let's get into this other story here. Was kind of saving this for just before Valiant got back. Maybe we've killed enough time now that it. You know what? There's another one just before that. Let's do this one first. They're both Disney, Lucasfilm related anyway. Let's start with this one. Who wants an Indiana Jones series?
A series?
Mhm.
They can't even make movies right. The hell? A series, huh?
Indiana Jones TV series eyed for Disney.
Oh
Plus.
boy.
This is an exclusive.
Yeah, go for it.
Disney is actively looking to develop an Indiana Jones TV series for Disney Plus. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. The Mouse House and Lucasfilm have specifically been bringing up the possibility of a streaming show set in the world of globe-trotting archaeologists in general, meeting with writers as of late. Sources say they are still looking for a writer to take the project, thus no plot details are available, given that it is unknown if a series would serve as a prequel to or a spin-off of the film franchise, or if it would tie into the upcoming 5th Indiana Jones film, similar to how Disney has tied its Marvel shows on Disney Plus into Marvel Cinematic Universe. The move to potentially develop an Indiana Jones show comes as Harrison Ford has stated that he is done playing the character after the 5th film, which is due out in 2023. He also said nobody else would ever play Indiana Jones, though I know he's wishful thinking there.
Yeah.
In addition to sources say Disney is currently exploring a number of options to keep the franchise going, which could mean a series, new films, other media, or combination thereof. Reps for Lucasfilm declined to comment. Of course they did. Because Kathy keeps announcing shit she's not supposed to, like this. Should a series move forward? You know this came from her camp. Should a series move forward, it would not be the first show about Indiana Jones. Of course not. The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles aired for 2 seasons on ABC, one of which was only because Iger fought for it. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. Since there's a Willow series, I can see this happening. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be a prequel, a sequel to the film, or do you think it's going to be a complete remake-able?
6?
I think it'll be Indiana Jones, the college years. Maybe Indy as
I
a
was just experimenting.
because how old was he in the that series that was on what
Young
was that,
Indy?
20, 30 years ago?
Well, Young Indy, they had segments where he was very, very young, and he met D.H. Lawrence. I mean, remember he met Lawrence of Arabia in his first one. Then they kept meeting historical figures. Then later, eventually, they started making it with Sean Patrick Flannery. And he started like he was about like 16 years old or something like that. And he joined up in the Mexican Revolution. He met Pancho Villa. Then later, he joined the Belgian army and fought in World War I. You know, and then later,
basically turned into Indiana Gump. It was.
Yeah, it was. But again, I actually liked that show. I think it was pretty good.
I didn't hate it.
They had some really good ones and stuff, and they were like movies, mini movies. But it is still, when I think of Indiana Jones, I think of Harrison Ford. So, but that was called the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. If they make one about him now, I guess they could call it the Old Indiana Jones Chronicles. Did you know did you see what they did? Did you see what Lucas did to that show when he brought it back? When he finally put it on DVD, though,
he destroyed it by editing the shit out of it.
He took there were opening segments to each episode with very old Indiana Jones, a very old man, like in his 90s, with an eye patch telling a story. Remember that? And then he would introduce the story, and then you'd go back to flashback.
Yeah.
Begin. It's a framing sequence at the beginning and the end. Jack asked Lucas, "Sorry, I love the guy, but I hate him when he does stuff like this." He took that out, and they said, "Why would you take that out when you finally everyone wanted to get DVDs? Well, because we got the movie of the Crystal Skull coming up, and if people, we don't want people to know that he's going to live to be an old man, or it somehow affects the
He didn't release them all anyway. It was like only certain selected episodes and shit anyhow.
He did it. No, he actually did I think he did a set with all the movies. I mean, all the episodes. I mean,
was it really all of them? Because I thought I heard that it wasn't all of them.
He took the old man out. I like the old man framing sequence.
Well, yeah, and that I knew, and then I thought it wasn't even the whole series. I thought it was only his favorite episodes, basically.
No, I think he did a whole set.
He may have, okay.
Which I wouldn't buy because he took the.
Well, because I thought it came out the same time he released Droids and Ewoks, and all he did for Droids and Ewoks was release the same two sets of episodes. Like he cropped like 3 or 4 episodes together of Ewoks that had nothing to do with the other, really. It's released them like a movie. So he had 2 of those, and then he did this with Droids. There was like 2 sets of episodes that were actually like continuing episodes. So those he went and cut together and released those as 2 separate movies. And he went and released those on DVD at about the same time. So I don't
know. Yeah. Well, I know he did. Excuse me. I know he did VHS versions of the movies, movieized them of the episodes. He did movieized episodes.
Yeah, I had those. Yeah.
But I'm 200. When I was led to understand, when he did that set right around the time Crystal's Numbskull came out, he released a set with all the episodes sans the old man framing sequences.
That's the other thing. He says they cut and pasted episodes together to make a chronicle. That was another thing that I thought I heard, because I never bought it.
That's true.
Yeah, and I was gonna buy it, and everybody's like, "Don't buy it. It's bullshit. It's fucked up. Waiting to see if they do a better version down the road." Blah 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 blah.
That's true. They did. They screwed around with the thing.
I knew there was, and that either stuff's missing or they cut other stuff out besides that. Like, there's more to it than just that. I know that.
And it's a shame. I like the show.
Yeah, it was decent. But as far as this goes, I have no fucking confidence in this. Especially if it's something along the same lines as Young Indiana Jones at this point, just because I don't trust anybody there.
Well, I
wouldn't mind that, but
like you said, we already know it's not going to be it's going to be Harrison Ford. So somebody else, and we don't know what time frame it's placed. I mean, obviously can't be much. I mean, what do you do? Make it after that last movie that we don't want to see?
That he probably dies in, that we know about.
Yeah. So where are you going to put it? It's going to have to take place in other time periods.
It was college. How was I supposed to know if I liked the taste of dick or not? You got to try it first.
So it's going to probably, I guess they mean it's going to take place in earlier times, obviously.
Guess what? Dick does kind of taste yummy.
Wow. Man.
Well, they are practically butt raping him at this point. I mean, no.
Yes.
I have zero confidence in this.
Oh, no.
Unless they did it in like an animated form, then I would. Have you ever seen that animated thing that somebody did? Like, if Indiana Jones was an animated Saturday morning cartoon?
Oh, I don't think so, but that's something I would love to see animated. Yeah, I mean, look, an animated version of older Indiana Jones adventures with good animation and good stories. Who wouldn't want to see that? I'd love that. Because, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about as much.
Oh, yeah. I found this pretty quick, actually.
Oh, wow.
So really? I'll probably get ganked for this.
Uh-oh.
It's like, I wanted this series when I was a kid. I was like, holy shit, this would have been amazing to wake up to on Saturday mornings. The Adventures of Indiana Jones by Patrick Schoenmaker. So here we go.
Oh, my. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Huh. Yay. Goodness.
could totally get into that.
I would.
Doesn't that just give you fucking chills? Like,
Oh yes, sir. Man, I'm in love with that. I want that so bad. Please give me that, and just oh man, with that animation style and everything.
I know, right? Isn't that
Good
just
writers.
fucking spot on?
That's incredible. Dude, that is
Get
just
me to
totally
do
cool.
the voice. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it, man.
That's not how treasure hunting works.
Yeah, is it that? So that they kind of made it to look sort of like an opening credits would be, or something like that.
Yeah, for like an animated show
Yeah.
on Saturday morning. It's brilliant. It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
like this. It's like
Crazy.
I couldn't want it any better than that. Exactly.
No, man. Did you know back in the late 80s, early 90s, they were going to, Fox was, before they did their X-Men cartoon and their Spider-Man cartoon, they were going to do a Captain America cartoon. And they sort of like this, they made an opening credits that are so cool. I'm like, oh my God, why don't I have that Captain America cartoon? You ever seen that? It's amazing.
No, I
Got
don't
the
think
music
I
and
have.
everything. It's on YouTube, of course.
I mean,
It's-
I've seen the old Captain America throws his mighty shield. I've seen
Yeah,
those,
of course. But this has this great, Captain America type music, and it's great art for the cartoon. It looks like
No,
like it would in the 90s. You ever get a chance to see that one, man? That is
Well, send me the link one of these days if you do. Yeah, I'll check.
that
it
is
out.
all. Yeah, I'll try.
I'd
to
watch it
find
right now if you got it. Yeah.
I can look for it.
Yeah,
Let's
go for it.
see. I will look for it.
But yeah, so Indiana Jones is supposedly getting a TV show. While Clobby's looking for that, I'll get our next story up here because we didn't have any super chats. Oh, we did have a couple. Member chat from Grad Admiral Adam, who's been a member for 3 months at the maximum effort puppy level, says Sunspot was one of the New Mutants and was in both that movie and Days of Future Past. There you go. That's what I thought. I knew there was at least a couple X-Men probably. Colonizer Jeebus is here and says Roman Reigns for Lobo. Rock is his cousin. Well, there you go. Is that who you sent me a picture of? Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I could probably see. Yeah, and see, now getting a wrestler does kind of make sense if they have the right personality. But with that, there was a Star Wars story, wasn't there? Oh, never mind. We got, I think we got it here already if you haven't got it, Lobby. Somebody sent it to me.
You got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's
The
see, it's not
canceled
the
1990 cartoon.
yeah.
Cartoon shows are simply more suited
No.
to serve as a better
This ain't it?
representation of comic book source materials.
No.
Marvel Comics, who's never had a
Oh, no,
TV
this
show
ain't
of
it.
his own, like Bucky and the Howling Commandos, fighting against Hydra, Baron Strucker, and the Red
Or is this
Skull.
it here?
Not much else is known about the series, sadly, other than a few details here and there, like that Captain America's secret identity would have been changed from the comics, as to say that
Is this
Steve
it?
Rogers is actually a pseudonym that the United States Army gave to Cap,
Or
and
no?
the
I guess not. He's not answering me. Okay. So,
Sorry, I
we'll
was
come back to it.
muted. I found it. It's
Oh, you
a
did?
crappy
Okay.
copy because it's never got
Yeah,
made. But I can
Yeah.
send it to you. Send you a link to it.
Sure, sure.
Let's see, put it in the. Like I say, it's a shame it won't be a clear copy like that last thing we saw. But here we go. Here's
No,
a.
no, that
I
was
put it in the private chat.
fan made anyway. So. Yeah. Here we go. I think this is part of what
Okay,
that video
there we
was.
go.
Let's see. Yeah, I'd watch this. I
Me
would've
too.
watched this.
I can see that being in the 90s, man.
Red Skull's a bit. I'm not. They live a little too overboard.
It looks a lot like the art of those cartoons in the 90s. They got in trouble for having Yahtzees. But what else are you gonna have? Man. I would have been all over that one,
Oh, just in case you want a present.
dude.
Ah.
God, I wish that had got made, man.
Did I ever send that to Polly? I don't think I did.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
did.
it does feel sort of like those, the X-Men or Spider-Man cartoons of the 90s. It fits right in there. course, that opening of the X-Men cartoon is one of the greatest openings in the cartoons ever. But yeah, that would have been, man, that looked good. They looked just like Cap, because the Spider-Man cartoon got him all wrong. He was on an episode of the X-Men cartoon too, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Valiant is back just in time. I was just about to get into the Star Wars news, and then we could jump from there into what happened today at Disney. So thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I've got about maybe 30 minutes or so here.
Okay, well, we shouldn't take that long.
Because I have one more kid to go pick up.
Okay, well, I don't plan on dwelling on this too much, and then I just want because I didn't get a chance to listen to any of the call today. So Sean Levy is supposedly in talks to direct a Star Wars film after people told KK to shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
About Star Wars projects.
Yeah,
now,
surprise, surprise.
Full disclosure, I think Six kind of was going over this, and she showed me a few things, and I agree with her assessment that this is probably something that was squeezed out of Levy that really wasn't meant to get out there.
Yep.
More so than a Kathy leak. But that being said, it still comes out on the same day we hear about this Indiana Jones show. So whatever. Sean Levy in talks to direct a Star Wars film after Deadpool 3 and Stranger Things final episodes. Basically, the gist of this is that he's in talks. He's got to focus on other things first. Maybe. That's the most that comes out of it. So I'm not going to waste too much time on that. I'm just going to ask you guys, Six, since you're the huge Star Wars fan here, what's your reaction to this? I don't know if you've seen many Sean Levy movies or shows.
Well, I don't know where he is in directing Stranger Things, and where they are in Deadpool, but this is something that sounds like it's years away, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment.
It's just gonna dissipate into the Star Wars verse.
Right next to Rian Johnson's trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Klobby? Okay. He must have stepped away. That's all right. So Valiant, go ahead and give us your assessment and then tell us what we missed today in the Q3 earnings call for Disney.
Well, I'm in complete agreement with Six. I'll add a little bit more flavor to it as well as far as my opinion on what's going on. Let's go back to the whole rumor of Kathleen Kennedy being told to, shut up and stop talking. I want to remind everybody that this was not, thrown out there on Reddit by some rando. This is something that was discussed by the former editor of The Hollywood Reporter and current co-founder of Puck magazine, Matthew Baloney. Now, Matt Baloney is somebody that I have cited multiple times on Valiant Renegade. Matt Baloney is somebody that I've personally spoken to on Twitter DMs. Just a, casual conversation, basically asking him if it would be okay if I cited and used his articles on my stream, only because much of Puck magazine is behind a paywall. And they've been pretty successful at it, so good for them. And Baloney was very gracious and said, sure, man, that's perfectly fine. So that's why we talk about Puck articles and we show paywalled articles of Puck on my channel. Now, when Matt Baloney comes out and says something, I listen. Now, to be clear, politically, socially, Matt Baloney and I probably don't get along on very much at all. But that said, I do respect the man as a Hollywood insider because there's probably few people at such a high level of knowledge and connection as Matt Baloney when it comes to getting good information. As I've probably mentioned on my channel and other streams many times, when everybody was talking months ago about, will Alan Horn go to Warner Brothers? Will David Zaslav bring him in to help? There was all this talk after his retirement from the Walt Disney Company. Alan Bergman was his co-chair of Walt Disney Studios. They oversaw everybody. They oversaw Lucasfilm, Marvel, Pixar, Walt Disney Animation, Fox Searchlight. When Horn retired, Bergman took the throne on his own, and he has it now. Matt Baloney's article a couple of months ago started with, there's been all this talk about Alan Horn and Warner Brothers, and instead of me just guessing, I picked up the phone and I called Alan, and I said, hey, you want to get lunch? So Alan and I went and got something to eat, sat down, and we had this conversation. I mean, that's the kind of connections that Matt Bologna has. So you need to listen to what the man is saying on Puck. This is why I recommend it. Now, he's the one that came up with the comment about Disney has basically told Kathy to shut the hell up and stop running her mouth, directly or indirectly, regarding future Star Wars projects, particularly on the cinematic scale. Because we all know that has been a clown show of a disaster for Lucasfilm in the last 5 years. Obviously, that's being ignored. But, of course, these things aren't coming out directly from Kathy or from Lucasfilm. They are being fettered out by the quote-unquote contracted directors, whatever's going on, saying, oh, yeah, I'm working on a Star Wars project, right? So Kathy can basically wash her hands of it and say, well, I didn't say it. You know, I'm following orders. But these other guys, yeah, they ran their mouths. I think this is kind of like a last-ditch desperation effort because Matt Bologna, in the last couple of months, he has become more and more vocal about his feelings regarding the abject failure of Lucasfilm as a professional business management enterprise, particularly when it comes to the Star Wars IP. He has not really held back. The gloves are coming off. And I think what Kathy fears largely is that when she retires after Indiana Jones 5 releases next summer, it may be late next year, it may be the following year, I don't know. The woman's going to be turning 70 years old next year. God bless her. I have nothing personal against her. I don't wish her any ill personally, but she's a terrible studio head. She's a terrible business manager. She's been a terrible steward of the Star Wars franchise. There is no arguing that point at all. And I think that she's kind of getting frustrated, and I think we're seeing these kind of leaks, that she's not supposed to be making, or that basically she hasn't been given authority to make these business decisions, and she's trying to throw these out there to salvage whatever legacy she thinks she might have left, to say, well, look, we did this, we started this, I got this going, I got that going. And because effectively at this point, otherwise, she's going to be leaving Lucasfilm in the next year or two in retirement. It's not going to be a firing, folks. And again, I have never said on my channel, not one time, that Kathy Kennedy would be fired. Not ever. She would never be marched off. I said her contract might not get renewed. I said that she would retire or something along those lines. And I think even, a lot of things that Doomcock talked about over the years has kind of been in that vein as well. She would never be humiliated, right? She is too powerful in Hollywood because of who she's married to and who she's worked with over the years. So I think this is just kind of her effort to salvage the public image of her quote-unquote legacy. And that's kind of where we are as far as this goes. I don't think this is really going to go anywhere. Just like the Taika Waititi thing isn't going anywhere, just like the Kevin Feige thing isn't going anywhere, just like the Rian Johnson thing isn't going anywhere, just like the Patty Jenkins thing isn't going anywhere, just like all the other directors and writers that have been shit-canned from Star Wars projects in the last, 6, 7, 8, 9 years at this point. There have been, as Tom, you've pointed out many times, there have been vastly more Star Wars writers and directors that have been fired that have successfully brought a project to fruition. So, I mean, that's where we are. That's the mismanagement. And I think this is just all a bunch of bunk. And that's it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if this movie is a success, then maybe, Deadpool 3, then maybe Levy will get a movie. But like, of all the things that we've heard about, Feige seemed to be one of the only sure things until it wasn't. So I think YTT's thing's off the table. I think
if you tell me that Feige can't even hang on to that job, ain't nobody safe, y'all.
But we'll see on that part. But to bring it up to speed here, Paulie, did you want to comment on the whole Sean Levy Star Wars business before Valiant gives us a rundown of the
Nope.
other business?
What up?
Okay. Clobby,
Hey, what's up, Paulie?
Not really. I don't know much about that whole thing. VR handles it, man. You got VR here, you don't need it.
Yeah.
All right, so VR, lay it on us. What the hell happened today at the quarterly call or whatever?
All right, so the bottom line is this. There were some expectations that were exceeded, and there were some expectations that were not. So let's talk about first the ones that were not. Some of the top line and bottom line earnings per share, gross revenues, operating income lower than expected, and that is what drove the Disney stock price down in after-hours trading. Now, again, if I look back historically, chances are a lot of the volatility that that plagued Disney stock, if you can call it that, in after hours, is going to settle out tomorrow, provided that the overall market, the Dow Jones and the S&P, are relatively stable. I mean, today they both had very big days, very big positive days. If we see that tomorrow, Disney is going to be brought up at that macro level as well. A rising tide lifts all boats. A falling tide lowers the boats, right? Just the same. So usually after earnings calls, the following day tends to be a little bit more, settled out in that regard. And that's because it gives investors, particularly the institutional guys, the big guys, the big banks, the JP Morgan Chases, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks, the Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, so on and so forth, gives them time to digest the information. Now, what they were happy about today, what was a positive for Disney, is that analysts were expecting about 9.5 million net new subscribers to Disney Plus, and they wound up with, across all the streaming platforms, they wound up with a little over 12 million. So that was a big beat. So when we think about the last several years where these analysts and these institutionals were just hardcore focused on nothing but sub growth, which I have lamented and I have disagreed with for years, even before I got on YouTube. Because I was more of a guy that's like, what is the profitability metrics, right? Well, we've heard that from David Zaslav at Warner Brothers. They don't really give a shit about their subscriber growth. They care about how much money are we making off of it. The market is finally starting to wake up and turn in that direction. And there's some language from Disney today, and quite frankly, in the last earnings call, they're starting to bend in that direction as well, because frankly, that's where the logic and the sense and the math should go, is profitability and not just how many subs you got, right? We can have 100 million subs in India, but if you're making 50 cents on each of those subs as an average revenue per user, it really don't mean shit. So we're starting to see that now from Disney as their content slate fills out. There's a lot of discussion going forward, things I've talked about for years, that eventually these sports contracts with things like the NFL, the MLB, the NHL, the NBA, so on and so forth, college sports, NCAA, which Disney basically owns college sports, let's be frank, with ESPN and all their contracts. ESPN owns about 30 of the 32 college bowl games, by the way. They own sports. So they're trying to get more of those things down the road, as I've been expecting they would, as these contracts renew, from being relegated only to linear broadcast, meaning ESPN through your cable or satellite provider, to where these types of programming, these live sports events, more of them will become available on things like ESPN Plus, which is their internal subscription. So again, they're still losing money. And they said that, look, we expected this, and they talked about this at the last earnings call, to where this quarter would likely be, in their opinion, and I think they're probably right, short of some surprises, that this fourth quarter would peak their losses for DTC, or direct-to-consumer. This would be the peak loss quarter for streaming, and that includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Their losses for last quarter in that segment was $1.1 billion. Their losses in this quarter for that segment, $1.5 billion. I think everything is on an upshot from here. Their advertising tier starts in about a month. Now, there's not going to be any significant revenue impact from that advertising-based tier between December 8th and December 31st. Let's be honest. The first big impact I think we're going to see on the advertising-based tier is going to be January 1st through March 31st, the first quarter of the year, or the second fiscal quarter for Disney 2023. But more importantly, the third fiscal quarter, which is going to be from, the third fiscal quarter for Disney, second calendar quarter, from April 1st through June 30th of next year. This is where things will start ramping. And by then, we'll also have Netflix. And as I've been telling people, yes, Netflix has more stuff, has more content, has more big hit shows, right? Disney is a definite second fiddle to Netflix. It's not even a contest. But what you have to understand, and what Netflix understands, is that Disney can eat their freaking lunch when it comes to advertising revenue, regardless of the popularity of shows, because of their very long-standing relationship with these advertisers. They are going to bundle, I've been saying this for months, they will bundle these advertising packages in with companies that are already advertising, spending hundreds of millions, billions of dollars a year on places like ESPN, to move them over to Disney Plus in a package deal. And guess what they announced today? Exactly what I've been predicting and telling people, that they're going to be wrapping packages together for these advertisers. Netflix, to their credit, in their earnings call, which we covered live a week or two ago on my channel, I got to respect these guys that are running Netflix. I really do. I love how plain spoken they are. I love their candor. I love the fact that they came onto their earnings call and they said, hey, look, we've got a crack team running our advertising bit. We really don't know what we're doing. But we're going to get there because we've got the content that people want. We're going to figure this out. Just give us time. I really like that. And I think Wall Street really liked that. We saw what happened to Netflix stock price after that earnings call. It went through the frickin' ceiling. It jacked. Okay. But Disney can still eat their lunch handily in that regard. So it's going to be fun to see going forward. The parks did very well. Even with the FX drag, the foreign currency exchange drag, the inflation issues going on right now, but it just didn't meet the expectations that Wall Street had. But it's not to say that it was overall terrible. So that's kind of my high level take on things.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Anybody got any comments or questions onto that? No.
Well, I guess I have a low level take. I think it'll be interesting to find out what their subs are after everybody who signed up for the 3-year deal when Disney Plus first started, which I was one of those people, and it worked out to be, I think, about $370 a month for me, because you paid the lump sum at the beginning.
Yep.
And it's going to expire November 12.
Yep.
And it's going to be an automatic renewal, but how many people are going to say, no, fuck this shit, I'm out? So that's what I'm going to be really curious to see, is how many people will have dropped it by next quarter.
That's a great question, Six. I will tell you this. Christine, the CFO, Bob, the CEO, they guided towards fourth quarter subs. It's not going to be as robust, the net new additions at least. It's not going to be as robust as what we've seen in the last 2 quarters. And that has to do with there's going to be a lull in some of the content. Like there's no big new shows coming in the fourth fiscal quarter. There are, however, some big original, like limited series movies that they're putting on Disney Plus. Of course, we got Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, which I personally believe, I think Hocus Pocus 2 smashed all the Disney records for Disney Plus. I mean, it absolutely, pardon my French, it fucking embarrassed Andor and She-Hulk. I mean, fucking embarrassed. 2.5 billion watch minutes in the first 3 days for Hocus Pocus. 2.7 billion watch minutes that was a 90-minute movie, I think it was. Andor was 120 minutes when it premiered, and it racked up like 500 million. Hocus Pocus 2 buried that ass. Okay? I mean, a 20-year-old, 30-year-old IP they brought back with 3 old women to do, frankly, what turned out to be a really shitty movie sequel. That's what it did. You've got The Santa Claus with Tim Allen coming up. You've got I can't forget. There's one or two others that are coming into play here. Strange World is going into theaters 10 days after Black Panther 2. That's expected to make 20 to 30 million as of tracking estimates at this point in its opening weekend, which is a absolute dumpster fire for Disney in the theater. However, it's probably going to rack up some decent watch time for the Nielsen ratings on Disney Plus. So they're going to throw that $150 million in the toilet to, again, try to bolster those Disney Plus numbers. But as they have advertisers come in, that's what Disney's counting on, is to get to that point. But they're still guiding towards a positive net add in the first fiscal quarter, the fourth calendar quarter of this year. So whatever expectation they have for the 3-year prepaid drop-off, apparently they're expecting the gains to far exceed anything they feel like they might lose.
There you go.
All right, Paulie, Clobby, anybody else want to
No,
chime in or have a question for Valiant? Or
no, man, he answers it all.
is
I
there
do what I
not?
can, bro.
Yeah,
You did.
Valiant. I had a question. Boxers or briefs?
Actually, like normally I wear boxer briefs.
That's weird.
That's the most direct answer you've given the whole show.
Well, it's the easiest answer. Everything else, you ask me like high-level finance questions. I got like,
Hey,
There was
my
no
natural.
15-minute preamble about
There's
the
no-
making of cotton.
Nothing more
and-
important than a man's underwear.
That's
And
right.
as sexy as Valiant's voice is, his underwear needs to match it.
You know what's sexy? Is that fucking mustache, dude. I mean,
Fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Amen.
You know, I have some other thoughts in regards to DC and MCU, just as far as vibe. So it's kind of like changing the subject a little bit, Tom, but I don't know where you're going next with this, but
No, what's up? Go ahead. Unless
What
anybody
else?
else said anything about the Disney stuff.
yeah, if anyone else has to say.
No, I'm good.
So I was thinking about this Valiant, just with what has Zaslav done in the last few months. I think it's brilliant, really do. And what he's saved, and what is on the slate, and then what is beyond, like everything from the retooling of was it Shazam, Aquaman, and Flash?
Yep.
Blue Beetle.
Yep.
Then the new boys that are in, right?
Mhm.
Just the vibe. These are winners. They're cool. We like these actors.
Mhm.
Cavill, Momoa.
Yep.
I mean, besides them being good looking and just like confident,
They pay the bills.
yeah,
Or they
and
they
then-
can pay the bills.
right.
Put it
And
that
then
way.
and then here's the vibe. Like even like today when the comedian George Lopez. Do you know? Who
Yeah,
that is?
we
Yeah.
talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
that earlier. We showed the interview.
Oh yeah, I was
Tom
looking
showed
at
the
that.
interview.
Somebody said Chris Gore looks terrible, and I'm like, I swear that looks like George Lopez. And I'm like, so I'm glad I wasn't taking crazy pills. I saw it on Twitter.
You saw that earlier? You guys
Yeah.
played it?
Tom played it. Yeah.
Okay, so compare that vibe and Sholo's vibe
Mhm.
to Tenoch and that vibe. It's almost like I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It's and even how they're selling their movies. It's about the story and entertainment first. I think it's all done on purpose. I was wondering if you guys caught on to it and how I'm seeing like these MCU, weenies. They're weenies. They're weenies. Or it's all women. No offense, Six. But it's like, it's no longer Black Panther. It's just, so I don't know.
You
I've
can't
just been-
sell.
I've been looking at the lay of the land, and as far as success and getting ready for more success. What do you think, VR?
Oh no, I think you're right. I think you're totally right. I mean, you cannot sell products that have been traditionally overwhelmingly consumed by men by handing them women. It's not a sexist thing. It's just what I mean, guys want to watch other guys. If female football could work, they'd make it. But guys are not going to watch it. The only time guys watched women playing football was the lingerie league. Yeah, Clavy knows where I'm going with this.
Hell yeah.
That's it. And that's my point. But you're
disclosure.
Here's the thing.
I dated one of those women.
Oh, yeah.
What up? What up?
But look, here you go with Warner Brothers and Zaslav, right? Paula, you hit on a lot of good points there. You really did. And that is like you talk about Zolo. Like, okay, let's talk about Cobra Kai, right? Big ol' hit show for Netflix. Even if it doesn't rack up Dahmer watch minutes, it is so beloved out there in the fan base. It's so beloved on social media. It's not just about Netflix and the watch hours. Let me ask y'all this. Think about this for a second. It's a rhetorical question because it's pretty easy to answer. Mm-hmm. Dahmer gets more watch hours than Cobra Kai. How many people are going out right now buying Dahmer merchandise versus how many people are buying Cobra Kai merchandise? See where I'm going with this? I have my wife, Mrs. Renegade, bought me a Cobra Kai sweatshirt for Christmas last year. It was the best Christmas gift I got. I freaking loved it. Okay? Right. That ain't happening with a lot of other... Now, Stranger Things...
You don't have a Dahmer sweatshirt?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have an Ozark one either. Now, Ozark's a great show, okay? But there's merchandise sales. There's that additional licensing content that people have to realize. What Zaslav realizes is that Jolo is... Dude, this guy's a hot commodity. He's on one of the most popular shows on television, Cobra Kai. Everybody freaking loves Miguel. Nobody hates Miguel. Everybody loves Miguel. We want to put him in the DC universe, put him in the Blue Beetle suit, and we can make money with this. And what Zaslav talked about was, and Tom heard me say this the other day, and I know Paulie did too, but this is for the audience out there if you didn't hear this. During the earnings call, when Zaslav goes off script during the Q&A, this is the part of Zaslav I freaking love because the man don't give a shit, okay? He's going to tell you like it is. And when he comes on there and he says, one of the bankers from Chase or Goldman Sachs, somebody asked him, well, you did this and you did that and all this is canceled. He's like, look. We canceled 37 shows. We canceled 37 projects for Warner Media. And nothing that we canceled was helping us. In other words, we canceled stuff that wasn't making money. We canceled stuff that nobody was watching, that we were
Same shit we were saying, yeah.
Exactly, that we were pissing money away on. Now, then he went on to name a few projects, some shows specifically that he was very excited about. And Blue Beetle was one of those few he was very excited about. That should tell you something, because Zaslav recognizes, hey, look, it's a DC show, but I think, me personally, what Zaslav was more excited about was the lead actor from that show, who is coming from a massive hit show on Netflix that sells a shitload of merch. People love Miguel. People love Jolo. He's going to be in this show. He's excited about this. So he looks at this as, maybe we spent, and I don't know what they spent on this, but maybe they spent $50 or $100 million shooting this show. But because it's a DC show. That's certainly one of the shows that Warner Media Discovery is producing that is on the higher end of production budgets, no doubt, right? It's not Mountain Monsters, and I love Mountain Monsters, but I guarantee you Blue Beetle cost a whole hell of a lot more than Mountain Monsters. But Zaslav kept Blue Beetle. He didn't shit can it. Why? Because he has faith in it, because he thinks it's a great show with a great actor leading it that can sell, that audiences want. That's all he cares about.
Well, and I put it in the private chat. I'm calling it the DC swagger.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from Cavill, the Bedrocks, the Camel, Momoa, Gal. I mean, MCU used to have that. Who do we got?
We got nobody. Nobody. I'm sorry. Wait, I forgot. We got Riri.
You got Riri.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
no one-
Lupita is gorgeous, but
I
I'm
think she
talking
is too.
you know,
I think Letitia Wright is gorgeous,
but this is
but she ain't Black Panther.
No shit.
This is Sholo and Bruna. They're the leads of the Blue Beetle.
Oh, that is that his girlfriend? Oh, that's the other
I
lead.
think they're dating, but the thing is, look at the swagger, man. Look at this.
Damn, she
Look at
hot.
this. These are their young stars. I'm like, where do we got that in MCU? Who do we got?
Everybody loves Miguel.
Yeah, man. Look at what about the TV shows, the MCU TV shows? I mean, what a complete disaster, man. Let's just call it. I might like what I like, but you compare it to what Zaslav is retooled. Then you got Saffron. Then you got Homeboy Gun. Yeah, I think they're gonna do some damage.
You notice that like Zaslav spent exactly 0 minutes and 0 seconds during the earnings call addressing anything about ESG and DEI. And he don't give a shit.
No.
You got over
Or
90% of
Snyder.
yeah,
Sorry.
you got over 90%. Over 90% of the S&P 500 companies have been basically strong-armed in to this bullshit
Right.
by the investment bankers, by JP Morgan Chase, by the Vanguards and BlackRocks, because that's where they infiltrate this shit from, and they push it on down the line. Yeah, they have their ESG disclaimer on the website. Zaslav, he don't give a fuck. Zaslav's like, show me the money. Oh, is it making money?
Show me the money.
Great. If it's making money, I love ESG. Oh, it's not making money? Fuck you, you're fired. And this is why everybody was so mad about it, because it's not like he's pro ESG. He's not anti ESG. He's just pro money. That's it. That's all he cares about. Just show me the fucking money. I was like, I can make Mountain Monsters and I can make home and garden television shows for like $1 million for a whole fucking season. You're telling me I got to spend $50 million on making a DC show that 5 people are going to watch? Fuck that noise. It's like,
Let me
no.
ask you quick. I'm sorry. Were you gonna say something, Six? I'm sorry.
No. I think it was me.
Let me ask you a question. So, as far as money wise, Black Adam is a flop. No, money.
Unfortunately, yes. It's.
Right.
I don't think it's going to come out of that status. Now, I do think that it's very possible that Black Adam could get to the point where if it breaches the $400 million mark, which it could, and it seems like, oh, it's at 330 now. Surely it'll get to 400. Yeah, well, with Wakanda Forever opening this weekend, that's going to suck all the wind out the room. But if it does, it's at least covered its production budget. It's probably not going to recover much, if anything, of its marketing budget. But then again, it's built a lot of goodwill with fans, and that's what Zaslav is looking at.
That's my follow-up. It's the most successful flop I've seen in a while.
I'd agree with that
Do
statement.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yep, I'd agree with you.
Like, there's a lot of swagger and good feelings coming out of this flop. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great, but I had a fun time. But I'm like, yeah, it's not like ¿cómo se llama? What's the Doctor? Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
Thor, Love and Thunder. I mean, I didn't even go see Thor.
Which
Love and
made money, but everybody thought it sucked. Right?
Yeah,
Black
right.
Adam's the opposite. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
probably not going to make any money, but everybody that saw it loved it. It's like Andor. It's like Andor on Disney Plus. It's like, it's really not
Well,
doing
yeah.
that great, but the people who are
Well,
watching it,
Yeah.
it's like, it's Stellan Skarsgård. It's fucking Diego
No,
Luna.
it's- yeah,
They're
it's
amazing cast and
it's an amazing
actors. It's a
show.
great show,
It's
but there's just
it's a
not enough
victim.
people.
It's a victim of Lucasfilm, and
Yep.
it's just the worst timing that you could ever have for this show. But,
That's it.
It should have came out like right after Luke Skywalker. It popped everyone's boner again. It's like, boom, here's some Andor.
Yeah, except we went with the cartoon 3-year-old. It's like Star Wars meets Blue's Clues. Here comes Book of Boba Fett. Fuck you.
yeah, but yeah. So even going back to that DC swagger. I don't know, man. I'm really liking it, and I'm very excited. Now, I'm also excited for El Muerto, which is being produced by Sony's people, and it's going to be in the Spider-Man universe.
No, wait. I'm sorry, Paulie. What was that? Which
You
one?
guys know about this movie?
Spanish Spider-Man. I can get down for that.
No, doofus. El Muerto, starring Bad Bunny. He
Whatever that
is
is.
an MCU.
Yeah, I've heard about Bad Bunny.
Yeah, he's an MCU.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, he's an MCU kind of like anti-hero clubby. He's fought Spider-Man in the comics. He's like a luchador.
Yes, and he's a Hispanic.
Okay,
of course.
Right. So they're bringing him. They're doing this film, and it's the same MCU. Well, it's Sony. Sony produced, and Sony hired the Blue Beetle guy, the writer of Blue Beetle, and to do the script. And to me, I'm way more excited about that than Namor, because I like that it's going to be part of the Spider-Verse. The Sony.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything TV and film when it comes to Spider-Man is it goes through Sony at this point, unless they decide to just let it go, which they will not. They know what they have. So, no, I'd be interested to see it. For sure. Yeah.
Here, I'll put it in the chat, private chat for you. But like that swagger, they need to have that swagger.
Well, here's the thing, and this is like I've been telling folks, reminding folks, look at Sony and look at Universal. They are relative unicorns in the Hollywood production industry right now. And the reason for that is that, and they're two very different dynamics, but they still work the same, and they're both really smart. Sony figured out that it's not worth it for us to engage into a proprietary streaming platform. Universal decided to engage in a proprietary streaming platform, but that was largely based on the fact that they have a 70, 80-year-old broadcast television channel called NBC, and they made a streaming service called Peacock based on it. But the thing is, Sony and Universal both license their content out post-theatrical. They still have pay-one windows. Both of those companies make $1 billion a year from Netflix and Amazon for everything that they put in theaters. So it doesn't matter. They can take risks. Like, The Woman King. The Woman King is a complete floppo in theaters, when it comes to recovering all of its costs between production and marketing. However, Sony was like, it's okay. We'll spend $50 million on this because even if we don't make it all back, we still have a $1 billion contract with Netflix to pass them all of our productions after they go. Same thing with Universal. Minions Rise of Gru will be on Netflix. Jurassic World Dominion, whatever, will be on Amazon Prime. They got Universal has $1 billion contracts each with Netflix and Amazon for this shit. Disney doesn't have that. Warner Brothers doesn't have that. Paramount really doesn't have that. They're trying to bring everything in-house. So that's why these other studios, they can afford to do some films that they think might not be bangers in the theater, but they know that they can get some long-term traction on them, like Hollywood studios used to do for decades before streaming started. They figured that out. And that's why I tend to pick on Disney more than most, because Disney doesn't have any secondary or tertiary third-party revenue windows anymore. They've abandoned them. They've called them all in-house. So it's a very different business dynamic from that perspective.
Yep.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's him. That's
Just need this up here. Oh, go ahead, Clobby.
No, I was going to say he was fairly obscure for why he was like in the early 2000s or something like that. He was in a Spider-Man comic or what? I don't know. I didn't read any of those, but I mean, he was some kind of mystical mask or something that he would wear and fighting the god El Dorado, I believe, or whatever. But and teamed up with Spider-Man, so it's to do with wrestling,
right?
I know that
Mexican
much.
luchadors, so Mexican wrestlers.
Yes.
And he put the mask on and gets powers, but
pretty obscure, but it'll be popular. It'll probably be pretty popular. Who knows? It might make a funny movie.
I mean, again, they're not, there's other older, Latino comic book heroes, but at least, this is something, right? You're building
Yeah.
off of something that's existing. You're not retconning. You're not race swapping.
True.
And-
I'd rather have seen White Tiger, but
I
would love to see
want
White
White Tiger, man.
and not the girl White Tiger. Sorry, ladies.
No,
I mean,
not
the
Alva.
original.
Yeah, Angela.
She's
Angela.
fine, but I mean, I like the original dude. So.
Original one's
Marvel's-
great, and I even mentioned that in my video last night where I was commenting that this guy was going after me saying, oh, Namor's gonna be our first and this and that. I'm like, no, not at all.
Not really.
Not at all.
No.
But yeah. So the other thing too is, this is probably the best move I've seen Marvel do in regards to, something like an original character that was created in the comics, and then have a bona fide star, because you like him or hate him. I know a lot of people that hate him. Bad Bunny is
Hey, who? Bad Bunny.
Yeah, he's a huge music star. And he's
okay, yeah.
Valiant. You know who he is. He was the Lobo and the Wolf and Bullet Train.
Oh yeah. Okay,
The Latino
gotcha.
guy.
Yeah.
So that guy is, I don't know if what your kids listen to, but he's huge with the kids.
Well, I knew he was a big music star.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think was that his song that was playing in the
Yes.
movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That was him. That was his great freaking song. I actually play that in the car quite a bit. That Bullet Train soundtrack is outstanding.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Only
I
Renegade
saw
listens
that
to
movie and I did a review.
Yeah, I
Did
was
you?
like, Tom finally saw it. He's like, he hit me up. I don't remember, it was late at night. He's like, okay, I finally watched Bullet Train. It was great. I'm like, I told you so. I'm like, I've been asking you to watch this for months.
Me and Tom, me and Valiant did something better. We had Andrea Munoz on a stream.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
Did you see her Instagram pictures today? Okay, I did.
I think she's got like.
I
some
enjoyed the
headshots
movie
or
quite a
something.
bit more than I thought I would, though. I mean, I thought I'd like it, but I had a lot of fun with it. I'm like, this is a lot of fun. Like,
Exactly. It was
it didn't
just
take
a lot
itself
of
too
fun.
seriously or anything like that, and I loved Brad Pitt's neurotic character, and just how he's convinced that bad luck follows him and shit like that.
Well, that was
It's
the
just-
brilliance of it. They set up the whole
Yeah.
luck issue right at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
and they played it out perfectly. And to me, and I told people right up front, like, if you haven't watched Lost City yet with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, I told people, I was like, go watch that movie before you watch Bullet Train, because you will have a better appreciation for the jokes in Bullet Train, because they were filming those movies simultaneously, which is why Brad Pitt had his cameo in The Lost City, and Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock came over and
I
did their
didn't know
shit
that.
in Bullet Train. And when the paper came down and Channing Tatum started making the joke, like, is this a gay
Is this a
thing?
sex thing?
Yes, I'm like, I was freaking dying laughing because we had just watched Lost City.
So no sex thing.
Yes, no, it's those two movies go together. Like, they don't go together, but they
Okay.
kind of do because of
Alright.
production
Is that
schedules.
on Netflix or anything?
It's
like
on
that?
HBO Max.
All right, I should be able to check that. out.
Yeah. Like, you'll have a better appreciation. I laugh so much harder at the jokes in Bullet Train because
Well, I
of
just
that.
love how like he's like, I killed this guy's dead or whatever, and he's like she's like, another one. He's like, it wasn't my fault this time. I swear to God.
There's so much brilliance in that movie. It's just
Yeah, because he ends up killing like 3 or 4 people on accident. It's
Exactly.
hilarious. It's like,
And isn't he like trying to go all Zen and stuff? Like, no.
yeah. He's just like, because he's the pickup guy. Like, that's the whole joke. Is he's
Good
not even
setup.
fucking supposed to be there today.
Right.
him having the conversation towards the end of the movie with Hanada,
Yeah.
the Japanese actor that played, fucking Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
When they're
Hiroki.
having that conversation on the train, it's like, this is just two totally opposite
Yeah.
characters, and it was just hilarious to watch.
Well, and not to give too much away, but for those who haven't seen it, but basically it's like you have two basically converging bad guys going after each other, and Brad Pitt's character was not even supposed to be there, but the guy he's
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin the cameo.
I'm not going to say who it is.
I came out of my chair.
Because this is something that keeps
My
bringing up
daughter and I
throughout
went
the
to go
film.
see that movie. We were crying when that cameo came on the screen. We were laughing so hard.
He's not even filling. He's filling in for somebody else. So like that's part of the joke. Is he's not this assassin. He's not some like grand criminal or anything like that. He's literally there just to pick up a fucking bag and get the fuck off at the next stop.
Yep.
Like that's all he's supposed to goddamn do. And every time he turns around, something keeps pulling him back into this train, and he gets sucked up into this thing that the guy he's filling in for has a part in, and that's why he keeps getting drug into it. But like, it is so brilliantly done. It has it's equal parts Tarantino meets
Guy Ritchie.
like Guy Ritchie to a point, but it also has another bit to it where it's like Taika Waititi humor and color only when he's good, right? Like there's something about there's a humor to it.
It's a Waititi humor. It's the Tarantino unfiltered. See,
That's
Waititi's,
true. Yeah.
Waititi's is a
Observation or however you want to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, Waititi is a weenie when it comes to like like action and men and dudes and stuff like that, and just being wrong. He's great with his humor. Tarantino.
Well, but that's also kind of part of the joke because right away his handlers like take the gun, and he's like, "I don't want to take the gun. I don't want to." Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
She's like, "Take the gun."
But Brad Pitt's a star, yeah, man.
No, he's great in it. I love the supporting cast. A Diesel, you're a Diesel.
Yeah.
The twins are great. I mean, and it's a diverse cast without calling a bunch of fucking,
It's not
like
Thomas the Train. It's Thomas the fucking Tank Engine. All right.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
And I love that joke too about the twins too, because that's the only time where it goes into remotely woke territory.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it's
They're
part
twins.
of the joke.
Everybody knows they're
And
twins.
nobody wants to fucking say why.
Yeah,
Like,
right. But that's why. But that's where it works.
It's like,
That's where it works.
Yeah.
they're not really twins though, are they?
Now I want to go see it again tonight.
Oh God.
You see it yet,
It's one,
Sid?
and it's absolutely look from a 4K for you plug right here, folks. It's one of the most
gorgeous.
beautiful 4K transfers because there's so little post production VFX in there.
Well, there's some like the green. It's shot on a lot of green screen with the.
Well, it's shot on
backgrounds,
green
but-
screens, but everything was shot into camera. So I mean, it was shot 4K RE raw right through to the end with no down conversions. I mean, it's exquisite. It is eye candy in a 4K disc. It's beautiful.
There's some bits where obviously it just goes. Like, let's be real. This is kind of like when I say I use the term comedy because you can't. It is an action film, but it is as equal as an action film as it is a comedy because there's points where it goes like there's no way that individual would have lived.
Oh,
been
no,
able to physically do that.
But
So,
the
like,
movie
it does kinda
establishes
take a
the fact
cartoony little
that
kind of
it's
yeah.
goofy. Yeah,
Exactly. Like it's
like
not
the
taking itself
tangerine
seriously
truck
at
at
all.
the end. I mean, my God, that was just I died laughing. I'm like, I told my daughter, I'm like, wait, the movie's not over yet. Wait. The credits started rolling. I'm like, I swear to God, there's something else. There's another cutscene coming. Sure enough, 30 seconds later, 10 minutes earlier. And I don't want to spoil it, but
And at the
whole
same time,
tangerine truck thing was explained, and
there's also a realism to
died.
it to where a lot of times in these movies somebody gets hit with a bullet or they get punched just right and they're knocked out and they're gone. They're done and out. No, that's what I loved about certain aspects of this movie is people don't die right away.
Yeah. Didn't you see it twice in the theater, Valiant?
Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
Speaking of the twins, like, because that's that one scene with the twins in it where the guy's just bleeding all over the fucking place and he's just like not dying. It's like, oh, this is actually the most realistic shit in the movie.
I know.
It's disgusting, but I can't stop laughing my ass off. And that's where it's like Tarantino, right? It's that
Exactly.
extreme
Oh my God! How'd you shoot
violence,
Marvin
yeah.
in the face? Like everybody,
Exactly,
everybody was laughing in the theater when Marvin got shot in the
It was
face
an
in Pulp
accident.
Fiction.
Accident my ass. I got fucking brains all over the back of my head.
Yeah, bloodiest scene in cinematic history at that point, and people couldn't
one
stop
of the
laughing.
funniest, one of the funniest though. Like I love that scene. Everybody loves that scene. That whole scene is like a nonstop laugh. Like
I know
that Tarantino bit is like.
All right, I got to boogie, folks. I got to pick up
we're
another
gonna
kid.
wrap this up anyway. So check out
I gotta
Valiant
bail.
Renegade. Check out Paul
All right,
at the
buddy.
Latino Slant. Do you have anything coming up, guys? Either one of you that you want to plug real quick on your way out the
You
door?
first, Valiant.
since you're heading out first?
A video this morning talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, projections for this weekend. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm sticking to my guns. I think this is gonna land in between Thor: Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange, and that's gonna be about it. I think in that case the movie is profitable, but it's certainly not anywhere close to what Disney is hoping for. Tom, you posted pictures recently. WDW Pro and I have been talking about this for weeks. Merchandise sales ain't looking that good. You've already got 50% off sales in Target, so
they're not exactly being like
That's when I'll go
flying off the shelves. No.
And that's what Hasbro was worried about. In fact, I posted a video earlier today as a response to Pro. There's a guy that made a video. I think he's got like 110 subs on YouTube. I got to go back and find it. Posted this wonderful video 3 months ago talking about he's a black father, and it's like, my son texted me today, and he's like, Dad, did you see the new Black Panther trailer? Yeah. He's like, this looks like shit. And it's like, this is, and I'm not kidding. I'm like, and I showed this to Pro. I'm like, this is exactly what our contacts from the toy industry, the partners with Disney, were telling us a month ago, is that the audience that they had built with Black Panther back in 2018 is probably going to vanish with the sequel because there is no strong male lead in this movie. And I'm like, I'm starting to see this. Like, I'm like, Pro and I may be contacting this guy, this YouTuber, this small guy, and we might have him on.
And then to add to that,
go ahead. No, I was going to say that. I mean, that was it. It's bizarre.
To add to that, I was watching someone who had seen the film, and they were surprised how little Winston Duke was in it. I'm like, I'm not. You totally used him for marketing purposes, but he's barely in it.
What you saw in the trailer was it,
right? So this guy was saying like, he's sensational. We needed more of him.
Yeah,
that's not good.
So
it's not good.
Anyway, gotta bail. Good to see you guys. Love y'all.
All right, buddy. Be good, man.
Gotta go pick up a kid. I'll be on later with Legal Mindset and Good Logic for election night. So.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
cool,
gonna
man.
bunch of panel tonight. They're gonna be doing on
Legal Mindset. He's got like 5,000 people watching him on fucking Rumble right now, dude. So I'm gonna be heading over there when I get back home, and I gotta go head in to go see Joe. I don't know if Nick's probably over there right now. Ricada, and I don't know. So election night's gonna be fun, folks. Have fun.
Tell him I
good to
said
see
hey.
you.
yeah, buddy.
Hail to me. Love y'all.
Take care, man.
All right, Paulie, anything you got coming up?
Yeah, I'm putting the link in the chat tomorrow live. What's today? Tuesday. This is 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I don't know if you have a show, Tom, but I have a Latin jazz
Tuesday?
artist. What's tomorrow?
What day? Well, tomorrow, Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
We have a 4K for you in the afternoon. It depends. It might depend on what you mean. 3 o'clock Pacific.
3 o'clock Pacific.
I might be able to hop in real quick, but I don't know. I can't say yet. I have to figure out the math.
I'm gonna have this amazing Cuban musician, and he put together this new record that is just so high level, where he's mixing the classics. When I say classics, Mozart, Beethoven, Mendel, with Caribbean music. It's insane. It's so good. He's going to be on, and he's part of a base camp for vets fundraising. Those guys. We're gonna have some vets on as well. So there's this whole thing. So come on by and check out what we're hanging out with Mr. Horsley, the Latin jazz artist, tomorrow.
Excellent.
It's gonna be excellent.
Yes, sir.
And I have videos all the time, man. All the time.
Including today, you dropped one.
Including today, brother
Yes,
Mike.
Sir.
We need to do a video,
Yes.
me and you in a 32. And I want us to go through the history of MCU Latino specific characters in the comic books.
Latino MCU.
You got it, buddy. I look forward to it, man.
Latin. I'm
up for it. man.
Clobby. Speaking of, what do you got coming up, brother? I know you always got something.
We'll see. Tomorrow night, I guess I'll be hanging with Loki and 24 on the comic book roundtable at 7 p.m. like we always do on Wednesday nights, and then my show at 9 p.m. later. So as usual, I do 2 shows every night. So I got that, and Clobby's Clubhouse Thursday night with Raquel and Mark, and then of course I hang out with Nick Weiser on Friday nights with the Comic Shop Talk, and then Saturday night Star Trek as usual, 9 p.m. Central. So all over the place, man.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Appreciate
What does
it, man.
Clobby
Appreciate
need
it.
with Star Trek? Well, everything.
Yes.
Hey, you're gonna go see a Wakanda?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I am going against my will Thursday to see it. Yes, sir. And so it might be on someone's show Saturday to review it, I think. So,
All right.
but if you want to talk about it, Paulie, let me know.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of you.
6, do you have anything to go to bring up?
Yeah, I'll be here Thursday night after I see
Yep.
Wakanda Forever.
So you'll be able to tell us what you thought of it when you get back.
Yep. Yeah, spoiler free. And then Friday night Loki show, Saturday afternoon Latino Slant, talking about Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, we're putting together a really cool panel
Nice.
Yeah.
with 6.
Nice.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Okie dokie. Thanks for being here and always helping me out with everything in the behind the scenes business, and for the Roku as well, because it gave us the review of
Weird.
Weird Al.
I got to go watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you see
what's
that
the
yet,
word on
Paulie?
that? Is it good? No.
I liked it all right. 6, did you finish it yet?
No, and I won't. I'm not really a Weird Al fan
Right.
anyway.
You got to kind of be a
Yeah.
Weird Al fan. She's got a point. Like it's
No, you got to
like
be a
I
fan
can
like
see
me.
anybody who's not really a Weird Al fan getting into this at all. It's
Yeah.
gonna be tough. If you're not
And
a
I'm
Weird Al
not really
fan, yeah.
a Harry Potter guy fan anymore.
And to me, that
there's-
was the worst part of the movie, besides the fact that it's 20 minutes too long.
I just think he's a punk for talking shit about the
Yeah, he's a
lady
total
that-
punk.
the lady that wrote Harry Potter
Gave him his career.
gave him a career.
Oh, you mean yeah, dipshit.
Yeah.
Radcliffe.
Yeah, you know what? F that guy.
Hell yeah.
I'm
I'm a big-
engaged with you on that
and
part,
I'm not
but-
joking. That's
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
I'm- I'm a huge Weird Al fan. Otherwise, I wouldn't watch this thing with him in it.
That's to be honest, this is the first movie I've seen of his all the way through. I don't like Daniel Radcliffe. I've never watched any of the Harry Potter movies. I watched like 20 minutes of that movie where he's dead in it, and I'm like, I can't. No, fuck this. It's just him
I
farting through the
love
whole
Harry
movie.
Potter, but I could
I
give a
love
shit
Harry
about.
Potter. I've seen
some of
Daniel
those.
Radcliffe.
I've actually seen a few of his films. I think there's like 3 that I really liked. I really
Everybody
liked,
always tried to get me to watch Horns as well, and that's one I never saw.
Well, Swiss Army Man was really
That's
good.
the one I'm talking about. See, I couldn't get into that one.
Really? Oh, that thing was cool.
That's the one
man.
where he's
That thing
dead
was
and he's farting through the whole
crazy.
fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
And then there's a one where
Oh,
he's
wow.
like escaped from Pretoria. He's like a South African man. He gets like in prison, and it's a prison breakout movie. That was
I
good.
have no idea what that was.
That is good. The guy escaped.
No,
from
what I'm talking about, Clobby, is that fucking movie is basically Daniel Radcliffe
Mhm.
plays a dead body in the whole movie.
Oh, wow.
And it's this one guy who does he find him or did they die on the same or did he
So
die in
weird,
the
I
same
forgot.
accident? I can't remember. But anyway, I can't remember if he finds him or if they have this he's part of the same accident that this other guy's a survivor of. So he ends up using the body basically to survive by floating on and other various means. And I think they end up start talking to each other like through like it just I didn't watch the whole thing. It gets so stupid I just turned it off.
So it's like
Because-
Weekend at Harry Potter's.
It kind of is. It very much seemed to be that. Like, there's even a bit where I remember, like, from the trailer itself, where he's like speeding through the water somehow with him, and because he's farting or some shit. Because that's like the thing, he's letting off gases because he's
God.
dying and shit. So it's constantly like farting and stuff. It's like,
Oh,
I
it's
don't know,
funny, man. It's strange. So it's
Some
called
people like
Escape-
it, but
Yeah, it's called Escape from Pretoria. Came out 2 years ago. That movie I really liked, And then his Victor Frankenstein was all right. Him and James McAvoy, whatever.
Oh, I haven't seen that. It's one of the few Frankenstein movies I've never had any interest.
That was pretty
in.
good. That was pretty good. And
Or
then
I
the Woman in
Frankenstein,
Black.
for that matter. But
So I was into him, man. I was watching his films, but now you're dead to me.
Hell yeah.
you hear that? You're dead to him, homie. In my
dead to
opinion.
him. Harry
He's
Potter.
probably
face.
listening too. He's gonna cry.
He is
over himself
listening.
to
I know he
sleep
listens.
tonight.
I know he listens. I've
'Cause
heard
that
he's
was a
told me.
backhand. That was a backhand.
Yeah.
It was. You
Oh,
didn't
that's a
even
bitch
get the
slap.
That was a bitch.
Yeah, you didn't even get the
slap,
man
Yeah.
punch. You did not get the man punch.
Not
I
even
know
good
he
enough for a
listens.
punch.
Yeah.
Not man enough for a punch.
What a douche, man.
You.
Agreed.
Oh,
No, that is, yeah. Even if you don't agree, that's where you just kind of like, yeah, I got no comment, or I don't want to get into that, or I don't, just that kind of a thing. Or you can even say, I don't necessarily agree with her points of view, but I support her.
That's all you
freedom
have
of
to
Her
do.
freedom to have that point of view.
to
Something,
express yourself.
a
Yeah.
non-answer kind
That's
of
all
thing.
you have
And
to
those
do,
times, I
you know?
don't mind those kind of times when you do that, because that's just,
Well,
you're not taking a
Tom,
stance so much as you're
that's-
just like being
yeah,
neutral
that's-
about it.
That's
yeah.
what Robbie Coltrane said. And then when he
And Ray
died, people were
Fiennes.
talking,
Yeah.
were talking shit about him, calling him anti-trans. It's like, no,
Oh,
he was
God.
just saying, I support her freedom of speech.
I think Ray Fiennes said that too.
And well, Ray Fiennes, Ray Fiennes said more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, me, on the other hand, we've got morning show in the morning. It's a never ending story for me. And then 4K for you. Shit, what else happens on Wednesdays? I don't even remember anymore. I'm sure there's other things I'm
Doomcock.
forgetting. Yeah, if I can't
Doomcock
get in over to
tomorrow.
Doomcock before physical media, so it's just, I'm all over the place.
Dude, you got so
Um,
much shit.
I know, dude. I need a vacation like you don't know.
I do know.
Hell yeah, man.
Other than
crazy.
that, so yeah, just check us out there whenever, here, there, everywhere. I'll be around. I forgot, Script and I haven't figured out, I think, yet what this A-rated B movie is this week, so I'll try to let you guys know that sooner than later too. He wasn't here tonight, so we haven't had a chance to talk about it. But with that, as they say, Andre does.
He's listening, or he was listening.
Was he?
He was in
Who?
chat.
Oh,
You know-
too bad he didn't
you know,
hop in.
guys,
I didn't see him.
In the chat, Cosmic Vader and Slick are recommending me Radcliffe movies that I hadn't seen. I love you guys. I'm not gonna see them. I'm done. I'm not gonna see his movies anymore.
What if an actor who you are a big fan of was in it?
What if Solo was in
Aw.
it? Solo was in it.
If Sholo was in it,
Sholo was in
Sholo,
it. How do you say it, Sholo?
Montgomery and,
What if-
and Daniel Radcliffe in
You'd watch that.
Harry Plopper.
What if Danny Trejo was in it?
Oh, he'd watch that.
Guns
lie to you.
Akimbo, Polly, please.
Hey, I got a worse one. What if Salma Hayek was in it? Your ass is
Oh.
watching that.
Danny Trejo don't need no magic wand.
Ah, Salma Hayek.
You're watching
All
that
right,
one. Don't even
kids.
lie.
I'm gonna get us out of here. Let's bring this in for a landing, as they say.
I got molested in a little boy's room.
What was that?
What was that?